NordicUSA.com or visit Walgreens or Amazon to purchase. Look younger and feel more confident with Hair Grow by New Nordic at NordicUSA.com.
The IRS finally caught up with Louie.
I hadn't paid my taxes in 8 years. I owe the IRS a lot of money.
Louie was in deep trouble.
We're going to take your house, put a lien on your bank account, garnish your pay. They don't care. They're going to take your paycheck.
Louie found out about Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima Tax, they help me. They calm me down. They make me feel comfortable, and I trust them.
Louie has a lot to be thankful for.
I don't owe the IRS anymore, and I'm able to live a comfortable life, a lot better life. It was because of Optima Tax.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation. Take it from Louie.
If you owe the IRS, don't go it alone. Give Optima Tax a call. They can help you.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
All right, welcome in. It's the Kenner and Kev Show, Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM. I'm Justin Kenner. He's Kev Nash. Mr. Kev Nash, welcome.
What up, though?
The NCAA tournament tips off tonight here in Dayton. First four action, UD Arena. Who's going? Who's going? Are you going?
I'm going.
I plan on going.
I'm going. Oh, you didn't?
I need the tickets.
Oh.
You technically need the tickets, too.
I know a guy.
I know a guy. I hope he remembers. Making plans to go. I don't know. But the first four tonight, absolutely love it. You could tell the NCAA tournament, this is my favorite time of year. So, obviously this week the NCAA tournament tips off. There's the boys state tournament coming up at UD Arena this weekend. We crowned 4 state champions in girls basketball this past weekend. The Alter Knights competing for a state title for the boys in semifinal action this weekend, as well as the Centerville Elks. Coach Cups and company, right?
4 in a row, right? 4 trips to state in a row.
Oh yeah, yep. There's a lot of interesting storylines heading into this weekend with the state tournament at UD Arena. But of course, girls state tournament games last weekend, first 4 tonight and tomorrow. Boys state tournament all weekend long. And then if you're a basketball fan, forget college or high school, whatever. Basketball fan is a great time.
Indeed.
So we're off and rolling. We're on the Justin Kenner Show Facebook page. We're on ESPN Dayton's YouTube channel, 1410 ESPN Radio, live on the iHeartRadio app. So make sure you're listening to us in all the different ways that you can take us in. So there's that. Got a lot to dive into today. I know we spent a lot of time on the bracket reveal, the reaction to that yesterday. Still a lot of college basketball that we'll get into here today, of course. We still have not reacted to the Steelers and the moves that they made over the weekend. Got to give the Bengals credit. They made another big move today. They're putting a couple trees in front of Joe Burrow, but we'll find out if that's enough for the Cincinnati Bengals. But we'll talk about that move. The Browns finalized a 3-year contract extension with Jerry Jeudy, $20 million a year. That's either going to be a really, really cheap deal, or that's going to be a big time, reach. And we'll talk about that. A lot of AFC North news to talk about. I don't even know if we've even talked about the addition of Derrick Henry to the Ravens yet. There's so much that's happened because we've had, been on and off due to Reds baseball, due to college basketball. I'm not complaining. As far as that's concerned, the Buckeyes close to, landing a new running backs coach after Tony Alford, splitting and head to that team up north. He's the running backs coach for them now. Did you see today they put a video out, Coach Harbaugh over in Michigan because they're moving to Los Angeles. I want to like him, but I just hate him because he was coaching at Michigan. But he's still just a normal, regular you and I type of dude. You know what he did? I don't know how much. He had a garage sale today. He had one of them racks with all the clothes hung up, and then just all these little odds and ends, little Chotsky things out there. You know what I mean? He had the stickers on them, some said 25 cents. It was the most normal people looking garage sale that you can imagine for a guy that cheated to win the national championship and is making millions in the NFL now. Not bad.
Me and Jim Harbaugh have absolutely nothing in common.
Really?
I will never do a yard sale, ever.
Oh, really?
Ever.
I don't have enough to do a yard sale.
I participated in one yard sale in my entire life. It was one of the worst Saturdays ever. My mom made a boatload of money, almost cuss right there. My mom made a boatload of money and probably bought me a lot of cool stuff with it. But that was probably the worst Saturday of my entire life, because just one random Saturday morning, mom busts in my room and says, "We're doing a yard sale today."
Today.
Yeah,
That's
on the
usually like
day
a thing,
of.
that's usually a thing you plan.
Not with Penny. Penny is spontaneous. Penny is spontaneous with her lifestyle.
Did Penny make pennies though?
Yeah,
That's
she
the
made a
question.
whole bunch.
See?
She
knows what
made
she's
the
doing.
ones that fold. And conveniently enough, my brother darted up and I got to go to work. And he bounced. And that's the problem when you're 6 years younger than your older brother, because technically he's right. He was 17 years old. So, yeah, I got to go to work. I knew he didn't have to go to work until much, much later in the afternoon. I mean, where was he working at? He was Long John Silver. Long John Silver does not open at 8 a.m. But he left the house and left me there by myself with Penny and lugging stuff from the basement, from the attic, from the garage. Go around the neighborhood, put up these signs, tell everybody we're having a yard sale.
So you said Long John Silver's. It got me thinking.
Yeah.
There's a secret society of people that keep that place open. Have you ever had a friend say, hey, man?
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Long John's.
I
There's
mean, not
Captain D's
re-
right by our house too. I put that in the same category, but like I never hear anyone say, "Oh no, man, sorry, I just ate. I had Long John Silver's for dinner." Never heard anyone say that.
Man,
like,
them
hey, you know,
planks.
the wife's never called, said, "Hey, you know, I got off early. I'm going to bring dinner home. Do you want something from Long John Silver's or Captain D's or anything like?" No, it's just it's a very. But I drive by them, never cars there. Like the employees are there, never see anyone in the drive-through. There's a secret society of people that's keeping that damn place open.
I would say from the age of 10 until about 13, I had Long John Silver's every night that my brother worked.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Well, because he worked there, so
Yes.
you get the free or
He
the
worked
discount
there.
food.
He worked there, and my mom's worked nights. So it was like, hey, bring your brother some food home. I'm not cooking.
Long John Silver people in the chat, do you frequent that establishment? I'm just curious, and I'm not even judging. I like seafood. I don't know why I would be a little hesitant to go have drive-through seafood.
It's amazing.
It's not bad.
It's
I mean, it's
amazing.
fried food. Let's be honest. Most fast food's not that good, anyways. They're not good for you. You should always question where they're getting these items from.
It's amazing.
Fast food, seafood in Dayton, Ohio.
Matter of fact, it's my night to cook dinner. Maybe I'll just go to Long John Silver's.
Wow, look at this first 9 minutes of the show, and we've already made a couple sales for that secret society of people that keep that establishment open.
All we ask is trust, baby.
It's a Kidder and Kev show here on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM. We are off and rolling here on a Tuesday. The first 4 tips off tonight. Looking forward to that. But I want to tip off the show today with, of course, touching on some of these headlines that we've missed over the last couple of days. So top of the hour headlines, we open up the show. We kind of got away a little bit. We got away from our routine a little bit. So I want to kind of get back on that a little bit. How about this? Some Joey Votto conversation. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big Joey Votto fan. I don't hate Joey Votto as much as people think, but nonetheless, Joey Votto obviously signed a spring training deal with the Blue Jays. His first at bat. This is the most Joey Votto story ever. His first at bat, home run. He hits a home run in his very first at bat with the Toronto Blue Jays in his debut spring training game. But Kev, that's not what people were talking about after. What people were talking about after is he hit the home run, yes, but he also hurt himself and had to be taken out of the game because he tripped on a bat in the dugout.
Oh,
rolled his ankle.
Man,
that's the most Joey Votto story ever.
Such bad luck. I mean, it had to be like a rookie bat, right? Everybody knows.
Pick up your bats.
Pick up your bat in
gloves,
the dugout.
Hats.
It's like, it's about the size of this room, and you got like 12, 13 guys in there. Shoot, I'm not even sure how many guys are in the dugout during a spring training situation. I'm probably even more, but that's too bad. But I mean, it's just a rolled ankle. He'll be perfectly fine.
Yeah, absolutely. For one, it was a cool story. Take the rolled ankle out of it. The bottom line is, look, and people are saying too, and I'm going to say this. A lot of people are saying, see, there's still some, he's healthy and there's still some pop left in there. I don't care if Joey Votto goes and hits 260 this year. The Reds made the right decision moving off from Joey Votto. This is one of the youngest teams in baseball, one of the hottest teams in baseball. You cannot give away at-bats and opportunities. You can't take opportunities away from the young guys who are stars for the Reds right now to appease Joey Votto, who's been so inconsistent over the downstretch of his career in Cincinnati. I hope he does well with the Blue Jays. This is not me doing I hope he fails so it doesn't make the Reds look bad. It will not make the Reds look bad. I think it was time for both to move on from one another. I have no problem with it.
I agree.
Next up, again, top of the hour headlines, top of the show headlines, if you will. The The Minnesota Vikings, Kev, are planning to have a private workout with Michigan quarterback J.J. McCarthy, according to Albert Breer. Right now, Albert Breer says if the draft was tomorrow, he would put all his money on the Vikings taking J.J. McCarthy if he was there and available with their 11th pick.
11th pick for J.J. So this is the crazy thing about it. And me and my brother have this conversation all the time. We kind of bring it always back to last year's draft with Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud. And we always say, like, man, how could you pass up on C.J. Stroud? And I always try to remove my Ohio State homerism when I'm talking about, the Buckeye players. But for me, it's as simple as what did you do on the field? And I think that C.J. Stroud did more on the field than Bryce Young, and he looks like a quarterback. Speaking about J.J. McCarthy, I think he was very limited on what he was able to do on the field. People are going to say because of the offense that they run, that's fine. And there's a lot of credence to that. But I just think when you're reaching that far, I don't see anything special about him. I don't see anything special about J.J. McCarthy to say, hey, man, we're going to make him the 11th pick in the NFL draft. I just don't see that in him. I haven't seen that in him in any of his college games. Now, I could be way off base. He could turn into Joe Montana for all I know. But from what I saw, I don't know that. But that is why they do all this combine stuff. That's why they do all the tests on the board. That's why they bring them in for private workouts to try to simulate what a game situation would be like, to see what that arm is really working with, for lack of a better word, as opposed to what we're able to see on the football field of him handing off and throwing the tight ends.
Yeah, it's wild how many reports have come out about how good J.J. McCarthy actually is, how many people he's impressed in his workouts and at the combine and all these other things. So I'm not going to switch. I'm not going to switch my side here just because it's like, people talk about the offense. And I've thrown this out before. And kudos to Michigan. They won the national championship. If they didn't win the championship, I think our argument would be more aggressive here. The bottom line is you mean to tell me if Harbaugh had Joe Burrow from his second year at LSU, if you had a Justin Fields, you mean if Harbaugh had guys like that in college, or let's say he had a Caleb Williams, you mean to tell me that he would have Caleb Williams with that talent handing it off every time? You would have had Joe Burrow with that talent handing it off every time? That's the part I can't wrap my head around, but it's Harbaugh, so yes, probably.
Yes, because we saw him do that with Andrew Luck.
Fair, and I keep going back. Yeah, and I'm thinking just Michigan, but you're right. He's shown signs of that in the past. We'll see. The bottom line is the reason I think there's a lot of, I think there's a lot of heat to this. There's no way that you went and got Sam Darnold to be your starting quarterback for Addison and Justin Jefferson and the running game that they have. Like, they have way too much talent to go get Sam Darnold to be the starting quarterback when they could have got Justin Fields. So I think that move was done as Sam Darnold being a legitimate backup quarterback for whoever they take in this draft, and it sounds like it could be J.J. McCarthy.
If they do take JJ, I'm sure they're going to try to bring him in slowly. They'll roll out there with Sam Darnold. And, people have this infatuation with Sam Darnold because they look at the measurables and they look at like his stature and all that, the strong arm and stuff like that. At some point, you're just broken and you're not going to break out of that funk. Yep. I mean, the guys that have been drafted in the first round that go to one team to the next team to the next team to the next team, like, ultimately they never pan out that way. They never turn into what they were, quote unquote, supposed to be. Not saying it's their fault. It's just what it turns into. It's just, hey man, I just don't see it.
Kenner and Kev show, top of the show headlines here, top of the show storylines, whatever piques our interest throughout the day, we jump on it nonetheless. Coming up, how about this one? Duquesne head coach Keith Dambrot announced that he will retire following the NCAA tournament run for Duquesne. An interesting name to keep an eye out for. Drew Joyce, his assistant, is a name that he has already basically, campaigned for to replace him. He said that they've been kind of, grooming him to be the guy to replace him when it's all said and done. And I love this storyline because this isn't just an assistant coach that played for LeBron or that played with LeBron at Akron St. Vincent St. Mary's. He played for Keith Dambrot alongside LeBron James at Akron St. Vincent St. Mary's. He was his point guard in high school and now is an assistant coach there and could potentially replace him. I find that to be very, very interesting. Another name that's being rumored to replace Keith Dambrot at Duquesne is the coach, Jared Calhoun, the head coach over at Youngstown State.
Oh, wow.
So those are the two names being thrown out there. But, of course, the one that's interesting to me, Drew Joyce, very, very interesting name to keep an eye on to replace Keith Dambrot over in the A-10.
I mean, you think about Duquesne, this is their first time in the tournament since the 70s. Since the 70s, man. That's 40 plus years. I mean, you would think in 40 years you would accidentally make your way to the tournament, but I guess not. They earned it. And you know what? Coach has been around a long time. You know, we got familiar with him by coaching at St. V with LeBron and stuff like that, but he's been coaching a long time before that as well. You know, he's earned it. And I mean, what a way to go out. You're getting your team to the tournament, and shoot, I'm sure he would love to have one of his former players / proteges / assistant coaches take over for him.
All right, we continue to go down the list here. How about TV Teddy? Teddy Valentine. He hasn't officiated in the NCAA tournament since 2019.
I wonder why.
He will officiate. I was like, man, I wonder if we can get through an NCAA tournament without officiating being one of the main talking points to kick off a show. Like, we know it's only a matter of time. We know when we come back and do the show on Monday after all the weekend's games are done, we're going to be talking about some controversy with officiating. And I have a feeling one of those controversial finishes to a game is going to have the likes of Mr. TV Teddy.
Absolutely. He's always a hot button guy. I mean, shoot, think about it. We know him. We remember Ed Hockley because of the muscles and stuff like that. But like, I don't want to know the names of referees. If you know the names of referees, that means like they're in controversy and calls that could have went either way. I mean, I'm happy for him, I guess. But I mean, hopefully we can get through this weekend without any controversy, especially from TV Teddy.
I love the controversy. I love it. I don't mind it. I don't mind it whatsoever. It's the Kinner and Kev show here on Dayton's ESPN Radio 1410 Wing AM. How about this one right here? I thought that this was very interesting. Logan Wilson and Evan McPherson, okay, both players for the Cincinnati Bengals. This is a really cool story, very random, but both became fathers over the weekend, I guess, and both their children were born on the same day at the same hospital.
Wow.
Teammates at the hospital supporting their wives were giving birth, and they're both at the same time. How wild is that? That is so crazy. That's going to be a memory that they have for the rest of their lives. That's pretty neat.
That's pretty cool. What do you think the teammates got them? Because, I mean, think about it. Like, if one guy was having a kid, like, oh, man, everybody's on chip in and get something cool. But, like, if two of them are having a kid, and at the same time, do you think those things got split down the middle? Like, all right, offense, you guys go ahead, take care of McPherson. Defense, you guys take care of Logan Wilson.
I'm just trying to figure out what they were celebrating 9 months ago. I mean, it wasn't a great year. I mean,
that's what happens when things ain't great. You make things better at home. Like, hey,
there's a lot of dangerous roads I can go down.
Want to go wrestle?
That's the worst thing in the world when you find out when your birthday is. Rewind 9 months. What was 9 months before?
Yeah,
it's gross. I'm a Valentine's Day baby. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. And that's how we end this part of the show. I gotta go throw up. We got a lot more to dive into. A lot of AFC North news to dive into. Justin Fields is the backup or fighting for a starting spot with the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Cincinnati Bengals, they load up their offensive line. That sounds weird. That sounds very, very weird. The Cleveland Browns, they collect quarterbacks like Pokemon cards, and we'll talk about another name that they added to their QB room, another Pro Bowl quarterback that they added to their QB room over the weekend. Let's see what else is there. Derrick Henry going to the Ravens. I mean, there's so much to dive into when it comes to the AFC North. OHSAA Boys Basketball State Tournament tips off this weekend. A couple local teams fighting for a state title. We'll talk about those two teams coming up around the corner. College basketball, our teams to watch, our 3 teams to watch, our 3 players to watch, plus 3 teams we have on upset alert heading into the first round. We got a ton to dive into here on a Tuesday. It's the Kinner and Kev Show, 1410 ESPN Radio. We'll be right back.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio. ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
Our forecast, partly cloudy and 35 tonight. Sunshine, 48 tomorrow. Thursday, mostly sunny and a high of 41. I'm Rick Schrempf for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Have you ever told a friend?
Oh, I'm fine.
When you really felt?
Just so overwhelmed.
Or sent a text?
Can't sleep. Are you awake?
When you couldn't find the words to say?
I'm scared to be alone with my thoughts right now.
Then this is your sign. to reach out to the 988 Lifeline for 24/7 free confidential support. You don't have to hide how you feel. Text, call, or chat anytime.
At the Montgomery County Veterans Service Commission, we help veterans and their dependents navigate the process of applying for benefits administered by the VA. We can assist with VA claims, pensions, and a variety of benefits, including emergency financial assistance, transportation, and legal services. If you are a veteran or a spouse of a veteran, a wide range of services may be available to you, always at no cost to the veteran. We are honored and proud to serve all Miami Valley veterans. Contact us today at 937-225-4801.
Have you heard? Bath Creations has moved to their new location and showroom at 8741 North Kimmel Road in Clayton. This gives you even more opportunity to see the incredible amenities and craftsmanship Bath Creation offers. With Bath Creations, you get a beautiful, modern bathroom that is safe, comfortable, and affordable. Attention first responders, veterans, and active military. Save an additional $500 off your purchase. Visit at 8741 North Kimmel Road in Clayton or online at mybathcreations.com and get a new bath today.
Frickers tips off the season with a trio of fan favorites. Frickers Street Tacos are back for a limited time. While you enjoy the march to the national championship of college basketball on Frickers TVs, you'll savor the flavor of 3 Frickers Street Tacos. Frickin' Chicken Tacos, Grilled Chicken Tacos, and Mississippi Barbecue Tacos are back for a limited time. While your brackets get busted, smash a personal picture of domestic draft for only $6.99. Hurry before time runs out at the home for fun, food, sports, and spirits. Frickers.
Texting enrolls you in recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The patented key ingredient is something called Testofen, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text Sizzle to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text SIZZLE to 42424. That's Sizzle to 42424.
Staples stores provide innovative products and services for small business, remote workers and learners, even teachers and parents. Explore more at your local Staples store.
Hey, let me tell you about the advantages of driving with my friends at Cordell Transportation. First of all, for the new year, they're offering brand new equipment to drive. They've purchased new equipment, and not a lot of people can say that, but they've got it, and they're ready to roll with you. Cordell Transportation is offering an incredible $5,000 sign-on bonus paid over 18 months. If you're an experienced Class A CDL driver looking for excellent benefits, home daily dedicated lanes, no-touch freights, then apply today online at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
Get your brackets submitted at wingam.com. Bracket Mayhem. Submit your bracket. Wingam.com. Kev, what is the perfect bracket win?
$1 million. $1 million. Kenner, we're not eligible. We can't win because
I told you I'll quit.
We work here.
I'll quit for $1 million. If I win this, and I probably won't. I'm horrible at picking these. I had a friend text me earlier about who he should pick in this one. I said, well, I told him the team I'd pick. I was like, so pick the other one because it's pretty simple. I mean, I'm absolutely atrocious at this. But it's wild. Everyone's bad at this, but everyone feels so confident when they're filling these brackets out. Like every year I feel like, man, I actually think I feel pretty good about this. And then what stinks is there's a certain point during the tournament while you're watching, you're like, man, I almost picked them. I had them picked
Exactly.
and I switched them out. Like we do this every year. And the thing that's wild is every year we are so confident heading in. You look at these 16s versus 1s and the 15s, 2s, 14 3s and what have you. And there's no 14-3 that makes sense, or 15-2 and 16-1. But then all of a sudden you're watching that St. Petersburg. You're watching these wild upsets that happen throughout. And you're like, oh, man, I knew I should have picked that. No, you didn't. No. That's what makes this tournament so dang wild. And that's why those money-hungry, greedy SOBs that want to change this tournament, they cannot kick rocks. But I will say various people we've talked to enjoyed this tournament because it might be – with the way things change constantly, there's going to be a time where it's going to be the final tournament that we remember watching growing up. So I'm going to really enjoy the heck out of this tournament. I just feel like there's always so much change coming. Football is drastically different now. Basketball is next, and I'm hoping it's not a change for the worse.
Yeah, man, change is happening in college basketball. I know I sent you a couple stories about everything going on in the ACC. With Clemson jumping into the lawsuit with ESPN as well, and the conference. The word is that Syracuse, North Carolina, and Duke are soon to follow in that lawsuit. So we are about to say goodbye to the ACC conference, just like we said goodbye to the Pac-12. But back to the college basketball, especially the bracket. I filled out my bracket the other day, and spoiler alert, I have UConn winning it all. And I know that's not going to happen because they won last year, and it's so hard to repeat. But I still think like that's feasible. I could see this team, going back. They are the number one seed. They're the best team. That's according to the bracket. But when I look at it and I think about it, they're in the same bracket as FAU, Final Four team from last year. They return guys actually, which is different for college basketball. San Diego State, also Final Four from last year. They returned some guys. And then you look at Auburn, and you look what they were able to do to Tennessee, which was the best team in the SEC last year, the way they put the smackdown on them in the SEC championship. They're also in the East. And then the Big Ten tournament champion, Illinois, is in there. And then also Drake is on this side of the bracket, along with Iowa State, the Big 12 champion from the tournament. So I think that UConn has the toughest road to the Final Four out of any of the number ones. And if they're supposed to be the number one, they're supposed to have the easiest path to it. So I know yesterday I said, man, the West looks like the most daunting. I have to change that. I got to go to the East.
Yeah, it's going to be, look, you brought up, I mean, the thing that's interesting about UConn, I don't think they've had a repeat champion since 5 and 6. That was that Florida team, but it was a repeat champion, repeat roster. I mean, it was right. Al Horford and Joakim Noah and those guys. In one of those championships, that's when they knocked off Ohio State with Greg Oden and Conley and Daquan Cook, Dayton Zone. So it's been a long time since we've had back-to-back champions. And basketball is tough to do. For one, basketball is the toughest postseason tournament in college as far as that's concerned to win it all, because the best team in college basketball rarely wins it all. You know what I mean? Like it's because of all the upsets, because of the the one and done type of format. It's not a series format like you get in pro sports, where outside the Super or the NFL playoffs, of course. You don't get, obviously you replay all these tournament games in a best of 3. It's probably chalk, right? Like chalk would take over as far as that's concerned. But in these one and done situations, they're so unpredictable. The reason I kind of like UConn to repeat, I think they have as good a chance as any other team in the history of college basketball, or history, at least since the early mid 2000s, is because of the consistency with the UConn program. Like UConn's not the Kentucky Calipari type of group that it's all the one and dones, that it's all like those guys. Like this is a built program. They are literally getting guys that come back the next year. There's some consistency with that UConn roster. I think that's why I kind of like that aspect of it. I think that's why Florida Atlantic, it wasn't just a one and done type situation. I'm not saying they're getting back to the Final Four, but they're not going to be an easy out either. I think there's consistency with these programs that aren't your typical blue bloods, that aren't going to get built around one and dones. That's why I like these types of teams when it's all said and done. And then, of course, the coaching. We don't have as many big name coaches in college basketball anymore. Rick Pitino, one of the biggest ones. He's not even coaching in this tournament. But you have your Bruce Pearls, you have your John Calipari's. I'd put Hurley now in that conversation, especially since winning a national championship. I mean, I know I'm missing some obvious ones. What are some of the, I'm kind of looking at it as sometimes what I use to gauge how I'm going to pick teams coming out is who the better coach is. Right. Because talent can sometimes wash itself out. It's going to come down to coaching. But I like the Bruce Pearls. I like the, obviously, we talked about Calipari and guys like that. But Calipari has not always been very successful in this tournament either. Izzo has always been a March type of coach. So you can never count Michigan State out either.
Right. Speaking about back-to-back for UConn, like you just talked about Florida, the back-to-back team 06, 07. Before that, it was Duke in 91 and 92. The 91 team, that was the team that beat UNLV, and then the 92 team is the one that beat Michigan, if I'm not mistaken. Then we didn't have a back-to-back champion until like the 70s with UCLA in the 70s. Then before that, UC in the 60s. San Francisco back in the 50s with Bill Russell, and then dating back before that, Kentucky in the 40s, and before that, Oklahoma State in the 40s as well. So like this is a daunting task for UConn to try to pull off. I wish them nothing but luck because I want my bracket to be right.
I haven't filled mine out yet.
What are you waiting for?
I wait until the day of Thursday.
Today's the day of.
Today, but no, it's not.
Then what's happening tonight?
There's 2 16s going at it. The one of those two teams, I might like 116 more than another to upset a 1 seed. You never know. Don't worry about you. Worry about your bracket.
Okay.
When I win my $1 million and I retire from this place, because people retire with $1 million. See, that's already off to a stupid start for Kinner with his $1 million. I'll use that $1 million and that time to go blow through that while I find my next underpaid career.
What do you
how
get?
About that?
What do you get when you win $1 million after taxes? Like what? 600,000? Maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
I might just move from one part of Dayton to the other side. Michael get one of them big ass houses off of Mad Rivers. I don't know. I haven't really thought about it. We'll see. How about so this comes in. Gary Peck. Gary says, interesting story. Long Beach State fired their coach at the end of the season after losing 5 straight, allowed him to coach in their league tournament, which they won, and now they are preparing to play Arizona with a fired coach. Yeah, there are a lot of these weird storylines. ADs don't fire coaches till the season's over, or do it early enough in the season to where, you know what I mean? Like to where a change can happen. I'm still angry at Gene Smith. Gene Smith has done a lot of great things at Ohio State, but firing Holtman with only 6 games to go. Holtman didn't cost them from getting into the NCAA tournament. Gene Smith did. I put all that blame on Gene Smith because Holtman should have been canned in January or should not have been brought back at all, should not have been fired with 6 games to go. They missed the NCAA tournament because Gene Smith waited too long to fire. Stop firing coaches prematurely or waiting too long to do it if that makes it. Like it's their call. It's up to the ADs to make the right decision of when to do it. But this is another one where the AD just looks absolutely ridiculous. They go to the NCAA tournament like he knows, and it's a 16 versus 1. So he knows he has one more game to coach, and this is it. But the AD obviously looks really, really silly because whoever they hire, if they come in and they don't repeat this type of success, the AD is going to look really, really silly. I think this is a dumb decision to fire a coach with a conference tournament to go. It's a one and done tournament format in conference tournament and NCAA or NIT or whatever. You never know. It's just absolutely insanely ridiculous to fire a coach unless there's like actual cause, like some kind of scandal or something. But, they didn't win enough, so we're going to fire you now. Now the AD looks silly. And I think Gene Smith looks silly for the Holtman thing, to be honest with you.
Another silly situation with a coach being fired. Utah State's women's coach got fired. As soon as their game ended and she still did the press conferences, she got asked a very awkward question, basically asking her about, hey, what's your plans for next year with the team, with the transfer portal? She was like, well, I'm not going to be here. I just got fired. Kudos to her for doing the press conference, because if I'd have got fired, I'm not doing no press conference. I'm on the bus like, hey, man, get me back to the school and let me clear out my office. Y'all can go do the press conference. The AD can go out there and explain why I'm not here.
Also, ADs, it's super disrespectful to fire a coach walking off the floor when you're on the road and you have to get on a bus or a plane to drive home. Have enough common decency just to get back and, hey, let's, have a meeting when we get back and we'll discuss the future, blah, blah, blah. What is up with these horrible people? Like, you're a horrible person if you do that. You fire a coach walking off the floor as they lost. Like, the coach probably knows that her time there is done.
Right.
But let her get on the bus and just kind of have you know what I mean? Like, just spend that time with her players and kind of bid farewell one time. Now you fired her. So now there's that awkward, and she handled it well, because after she told the media went silent, she goes, so I guess that's the last of the questions, huh? And then she got up and walked off. But I think you are a horrible person and AD if you fire a coach walking off the floor when you still have to get on a bus or plane to head home. I just think that's ridiculous.
I get what you're saying, but sometimes there is a point of like, hey man, we got to cut bait. And I remember when Lane Kiffin got fired from UCLA. No, not UCLA, USC. He got fired on the tarmac on the airplane because they just had enough. Also remember when Lane Kiffin got fired after the semifinals of the college football playoff. He was offensive coordinator for Alabama and fired him. Nick Saban fired him before the national championship game. Like, it's like, yeah, after that game, you're fired. So we always got to remember, like, there's two sides to this. You know, what's going on behind the scenes? What type of, for lack of a better word, attitude are you getting from the coach? Are you getting that response from the players that you desperately need for your team to win? Because, I mean, I go back to that Lane Kiffin situation. I mean, we kind of give Nick Saban a lot of benefit of the doubt, but like, yeah, like it's Nick Saban, for goodness sake. He has to have a reason to fire Lane Kiffin, especially since Lane Kiffin has a history of stuff. We'll just use the word stuff with other institutions. I mean, people gave it credence. People basically say, yeah, he probably had it coming.
Oh, no, absolutely not. Nope, no excuse to fire a coach before you get back and call him into your office and have a professional sit down. I got a text from my boss saying to come back. We're in the middle of the show. I'm really curious to see what this is. You know, we'll see what happens there. I mean, I've heard of horrible people in this business that don't even tell the person they're fired. Their key just don't work when they get to work.
Oh, yeah.
I've heard of very unprofessional approaches like that before in our industry. So that's all, you know, but is what it is as far as that's concerned. All right, top 3 teams that you're keeping an eye on for this tournament, top 3 players in upset alert in these early rounds. That's what we're going to touch on when we get back. It's the Kinner and Kev show here. Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM. I want to hear from you guys, though. I'm seeing some stuff come in. Jimmy G to the Rams, Jimmy Garoppolo to the Rams, by the way. I haven't, Ryan Strong messages that into the show. What up, Ryan? But interesting move right there, Jimmy G. Yeah, so we'll see it. But that's an interesting one right there. Obviously not going to start, going to be a backup for Stafford. So interesting move right there.
That's interesting to you?
I mean, what?
Jimmy G
going
to the Rams?
And that with that offense, yeah. With McVay, he's a good backup. He's better than Sam Darnold.
Yeah,
he is. He's better than Sam Darnold, in my opinion, at least. Like, I'd take him over Sam Darnold any day of the week. I think you're just jealous because he dates porn stars. I can just see and hear the jealousy in your face. Like,
we're doing a lot of porn talk on this show lately. Last week we were talking about Pornhub.
Yeah. Gotta be careful. OHSA may not let me go work that tournament this week. You're talking about way too many appropriate things.
I don't see it. I'm not finding it.
Dang it, Ryan Strong. The one time I don't vet something, you messaging something.
I'm not saying he's wrong, but
Ryan Strong, Ryan Weak, man. Come on now. That's the last time I let someone do that.
Chase Young signed with the Saints. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything yet.
Oh, well. And if we're wrong, we're wrong. It's not like that's like major
I think
news.
I think that proves about how important Jimmy G is.
Well, hold up. Hold up. It just hasn't broke yet. I mean, we need the breaking news sounder. We might need something like that. You never know. All right. We do want to hear from you guys in the chat, though. What are the upsets that you're already eyeing, that you're already highlighting, that you're already like, some people have already, like Kev, Kev's filled out his bracket already. There's some upsets on Kev's bracket. I haven't taken a look at it yet. I know there's some upsets on all of your brackets right now. I want to know what upsets you are feeling and what like in today's college basketball with parity being so widespread right now. What is there a threshold? Is there a cutoff as far as a line is concerned? Does it stop at the 15 line? You have 16 ones, 15 twos, 14 threes. When do upsets stop counting? Is that, you know what I mean? Like, that's what I want to, I'm curious people's thoughts on that. But what upsets and what are those players you're keeping an eye out for? Like, players that are going to become big household names throughout this tournament. The women don't have to worry about that. There's some big names already heading into this tournament nonetheless. But let's talk all things college hoops when we come back. NCAA tournament, March Madness. It kicks off or tips off tonight. First 4 action, Wagner and Howard, 6:40. The tip-off at UD Arena with Colorado State and Virginia right after that. All right, folks, good stuff. We'll be right back. It's the Kinner and Kev Show, 1410 ESPN Radio.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio.
I grew up hearing that women are bad with money. But like many of you, I spent years paying bills, managing checking accounts, and taking care of my family. So turns out women are pretty good with money after all. And now I'm taking control of my financial future by saving for retirement. It's never too late to start, and there's a great website to help you. Check out WeSaySaveIt.org and jumpstart your retirement savings on your budget and your timeline. That's WeSaySaveIt.org. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Getting your biggest tax refund from Jackson Hewitt can lead to some spirited reactions.
Jackson Hewitt, yeah!
Jackson Hewitt is so sure they'll get you your biggest refund that if they don't, you get your money back plus $100.
Jackson Hewitt, yeah!
Switch to Jackson Hewitt and we'll beat what you paid last year, even if you filed online.
Yeah!
Ain't nothing to it. Switch to Jackson Hewitt and pay less for tax prep, guaranteed. Proof of prior year payment required when filing. New clients only at participating locations through April 7th. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduce stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
By now, you should know Audio Etc. has all the same sales and deals on TVs and projectors as everyone else. But did you know we also have some of the world's best hi-fi? Hi, this is Kirby from Audio Etc. And we do have some of the best home theater high-fidelity gear on the planet. Not only do we have your favorite brands like Clip speakers and SVS subwoofers, but audiophile greats from Bowers & Wilkins, Kef, NAD, Marantz, Cambridge, Mark Levinson, and plenty of vinyl and tube gear. Plus exotics you only see in the magazines. Stop by today and visit Audio Etc.'s crazy cool showroom and see and audition the best audio and video has to offer. While you're in, check out our huge selection of pre-owned vintage gear. A great way to afford great gear otherwise out of reach, or revisit old classics. Audio Etc. Sound advice you can trust. Audio Etc. 551 Congress Park Drive at the corner of Paragon in Centerville, or call 434-9770.
Audio Etc.'s crazy cool showroom.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy houses as is fast for cash. Call me today for an all-cash offer on any of your properties, and we can close within days at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Do you own a property that's outdated and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, I'll buy it. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Would it be convenient for you if you could simply take what you wanted and leave the rest behind? Great, I'll buy it. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family, apartment buildings, rental portfolios. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Call TurboTrack Realty today for an all-cash offer and speak with one of our friendly staff members at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
O'Reilly.
Need a little help? O'Reilly Auto Parts can help. Need advice? We've got advice. No matter what you need, we have thousands of professional parts people doing their part to make sure you have it. Exceptional customer service. Just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart. The professional parts people.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I wish I could get this stupid jar open.
Jars can be tough, am I right?
Who are you? And how'd you get in my kitchen?
It's me, Flo, and I'm here to grant your wish of easily switching to Progressive and helping you get a discount that honors the time spent with your previous insurer.
Great, but what does that have to do with getting this jar open?
Nothing.
So you can't open this?
Oh, I just do insurance. Jars, I leave to the professionals.
Sign up for Progressive and opt into more savings. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states or situations.
Everyone's chasing their 5 minutes of fame. Everyone except Lee's famous recipe chicken. Because for us, creating a lasting legacy that's good enough has never been good enough. That's why we hand dip, hand bread, and fry top quality chicken strips to crispy golden perfection. And how we bring you the best 10-piece family strip meal money can buy. Get a taste of it at Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken.
9 out of 10 hiring managers are having difficulty hiring today. Robert Half is here to help. At Robert Half, they know talent. Visit roberthalf.com today.
By now, you should know Audio Etc. has all the same sales and deals on TVs and projectors as everyone else. But did you know we also have some of the world's best hi-fi? Hi, this is Kirby from Audio Etc. And we do have some of the best home theater, high-fidelity gear on the planet. Not only do we have your favorite brands like Clip speakers and SVS subwoofers, but audiophile greats from Bowers & Wilkins, Kef, NAD, Marantz, Cambridge, Mark Levinson, and plenty of vinyl and tube gear. Plus exotics you only see in the magazines. Stop by today and visit Audio Etc.'s crazy cool showroom and see and audition the best audio and video has to offer. While you're in, check out our huge selection of pre-owned vintage gear. A great way to afford great gear otherwise out of reach, or revisit old classics. Audio Etc. Sound advice you can trust. Audio Etc. 551 Congress Park Drive at the corner of Paragon in Centerville, or call 434-9770.
Audio Etc.'s crazy cool showroom.
ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM. You told me to remind you to do something, and of course I forgot. Fumble on the play.
It is what it is. I'm over here playing on my phone.
Fumble on the play. You're over there being a degenerate.
I am.
A degenerate. My goodness.
Play some future bets.
So.
Win. I'm going to win.
All right. The tournament. First four tips off tonight. Pretty excited about that. That's coming up at UD Arena later on this evening, of course. I'll be heading out there after the show, assuming we can get the dang tickets. Supposed to have tickets in hand. Should probably be putting more urgency in that, making sure that's squared away.
Probably.
But anyways. All right, 518-1410, 518-1410. That's the number to call and jump in on the conversation, or head to the Justin Kinder Show Facebook page, ESPN Dayton's YouTube channel, and you can leave your comments in the and leave your responses in the comment section. Of course, 3 teams to watch, three teams that you are the most excited about heading into this tournament, 3 players to watch, 3 players, obviously self-explanatory, that you're most excited about heading into this tournament. Plus, let's talk about those upset alerts. 3 early upset alerts, 3 games this week or weekend. So it's either a game coming up Thursday or Friday, or an upset that you can foresee heading into the second round of 32 coming up Saturday, Sunday, nonetheless. So we're off and rolling. Kev, where do you want to start? 3 teams to watch?
Let's start with players.
Players to watch. Okay,
players.
I'll let you start. 3
All
players
right.
to watch.
The first player to watch is Caleb Love, point guard from Arizona. Originally played at North Carolina, hit the transfer portal, initially committed to go to the University of Michigan, decommitted there, ended up at Arizona. Now, his time at North Carolina, he played the shooting guard position, him and RJ Davis, and emphasis on shooting because he was a gunner. He was letting it go. But guess what? At Arizona, they moved him to his more natural position, the point guard. So he's making all the decisions. He not only was the Pac-12 Player of the Year, but he also averaged 18 points, dished out 5 assists, and grabbed 4 rebounds as well. High-level point guard play from Caleb Love, playing under control out there in Arizona. Definitely a player to watch.
I like Dalton Connect out of Tennessee. Dalton Connect out of Tennessee. I don't know if you had him on your list, but he was just announced earlier today, AP first-team All-American. He had a 40-point game against Tennessee or against Kentucky earlier in the season, and he's just been one of the most exciting players to watch in college basketball. Now, again, the thing that with all these players, I don't expect a lot of people to know all of these names right off the bat, but that's what makes this tournament so special is that this is the platform. This is what these players have been working so hard all season to do, is so that they can go play on this stage. Dalton Connect, or the player you just mentioned, the names that we're going to mention, these are names that could potentially be those household names that we talk about in just a few days. Big performances, buzzer beaters, whatever it is, deep tournament runs, leading a team to a Final Four, a title. That's what it's all about. But Dalton Connect is a big name to keep an eye out for from Tennessee. A little foreshadow here. Tennessee is a big team that I'm keeping an eye on this tournament run because of a player like Dalton Connect.
Very fair. Number 2 for me, this is probably a little homerish. Quincy Guerrier. He played at Syracuse, transferred to Oregon. Now he is transferred to Illinois, and he was a part of the Illinois championship team from the Big Ten that won the Big Ten tournament championship over the weekend. Now, he's not a guy that's going to go out there and give you 25 points or anything like that. He's a very glue type of guy. He's going to get you 10 points. He's going to get you 8 rebounds. He's going to do all the small things, all the hustle things. And I think that him being an older player, a very experienced player, he played in the tournament with Syracuse, played in the tournament with Oregon. Now he's going to be playing in the tournament with Illinois. He's kind of like a been there, done that type of guy, a very good glue guy for Illinois.
Who'd you just say?
Quincy Guerrier.
For Illinois.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sticking with Illinois, though.
Okay.
But obviously, a name that I think Terrence Shannon Jr., of course, obviously. Look, Illinois is a dangerous-ass team. I know that the Big Ten's not going to get a lot of respect because they haven't won a national championship in almost, 24 years. It has been since 2000. Michigan State was the last team to win a national championship.
Wright State beat that team, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. At the Nutter Center.
Yes, sir.
Because
Storm
Michigan
the court,
State,
too.
Yeah, they easy now. Easy now. But Michigan State, they had the cojones to actually go play Wright State. There's some tournament teams that don't have the cojones to do that. But that's 24 years ago. 24 years of not having the cojones to go play there. Just saying. But I really like Illinois, really because of the star power that they have. There's a lot of teams that are just really good basketball teams, have really good, solid players. Illinois has stars.
Yeah.
That's the thing that's wild about this Illinois team. And I think that Illinois might have a good shot to end that drought for the Big Ten. The Big Ten's, whether it's Purdue or Illinois. I mean, I know Michigan State and others are in it. But I do think that Illinois has a legitimate shot because of, the name you mentioned, but Junior, of course. There's some outside stuff that's been kind of a distraction for him throughout the season as well. But when he's on the floor, he's electric, and he gives that team a chance to win every single night. I think he's going to be another household name when this tournament's done as well, unless they go all out Big Ten and get knocked out in the early round.
Now, I am the main person that bangs on the Big Ten Conference for not winning the championship in the last 24 years. But we also have to recognize the Big Ten has been in the championship game. The Ohio State has been there. Michigan has been there twice. Illinois has been there as well. So Wisconsin's been there. So they've been on the cusp of winning a national championship, but they just haven't been able to get over the hump as a conference. So even though I'm the main guy to say, hey, man, how good is the Big Ten? They ain't won in 24 years. We still have to recognize the fact that they are in the championship game, not just in the Final Four, but they're in the championship game. And most of those games have come down to the buzzer.
Absolutely. Again, our 3 players to watch. Who else do you have on deck?
All right, last one, and I hope I beat you to the punch. Tucker DeVries. He's the shooting guard from Drake. We kind of talked about him yesterday. Yeah. Kind of basically going to repeat what I said yesterday. 23 points a game, man. 23 points a game. He's the nation's 5th leading scorer, man. He gets buckets. He's on the NBA radar. Watch out. Watch out. I'm telling you, who do they play? Washington State? Yeah, I got Drake winning that game, and I got Tucker going crazy.
Yeah, Clark Kellogg talked about him too when he was on with us the other day as well, as far as that's concerned. No, this one's an easy one. This guy deserves this platform. It's going to surprise some people. Deron freaking Holmes. We all know who the hell Deron Holmes is. We all know who he is. No. Hold on. Listen. Deron Holmes is big in this area. No, there's no flag. Take a listen. Just listen.
Okay.
Deron Holmes. Okay. This is the dude that the only reason Dayton's freaking relevant this season is because of this guy. This guy actually was loyal enough to come back when he could have gone to Duke and made way more money in NIL and actually been way more relevant playing for that team. His loyalty now is going to be put on his reward for his loyalty is finally going to be put on full display. Think of the big names that have played at Dayton since Anthony Grant has taken over. All right. Anthony Grant has had 10 times the flashier names and skill level of players that has played for him at Dayton than Archie did. Archie didn't have as many of the flashy players, but he had way more tournament success. Now we're going to get to see what Anthony Grant could do in the NCAA tournament, and it's because of a guy like Deron Holmes. I'm making sure I highlight Deron Holmes because everyone calls me a hater. Everyone told me that last week I was advocating for the fact that he didn't deserve to win the A10 Player of the Year outright. You bunch of crybabies. Y'all can kick rocks and y'all can kiss the whatever cheek you want to behind me as far as I'm concerned. This guy is the real deal. You guys know that. I know everyone around here knows that, but not everyone around the country knows that. That's why I said that's the name that everyone needs to keep an eye out for, because I think that if Dayton has any shot at beating Nevada, it's going to come down to him having a monster game. I think that we need to be more appreciative of his loyalty, because he should not have been as loyal as what he was. He should not have been as loyal as what he was, but he was, and now he's playing in the NCAA tournament. Obi Toppin didn't get a chance to play in the NCAA tournament. Jalen Crutcher did not get a chance to do it. Even the glue role players like a Ryan Mikesell and a Trey Landers didn't get an opportunity to do that, and then, or at least with this group, of course. And then you talk about the fact that Tumani Kamara, another guy that's roaming the floors in the NBA right now, didn't get a chance to play in it. So now Deron Holmes, all the hype, all the love, all the stuff that everyone around here knows about, now he has a chance to go put it on full display on the biggest stage in the NCAA tournament, and he gets to do it against a team that they have a good shot to beat in Nevada. So there you go. My love for Deron Holmes is there, and that's where it stops.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
Where's that flag that you were about to throw? I was like, hold on. I had my reason. I knew you were going to do that.
Good reason.
Yeah.
I just, I didn't know, the Flyers were on the radar since we live in Dayton. That's all.
Oh, not on this show, because we don't talk about the Flyers.
Let's go over to teams going home early. 3 teams that could potentially go home early.
What's your rules for upsets? Because I feel like there should be a threshold on the seed line. Like, I don't know if if Nevada beats Dayton, I don't think that's an upset.
No, that's not.
And it's not like a 10-7. I think you have your 16-1s, your 15-2s, your 14. I think, how far down do you go? I look at the 12-5s as the threshold for the upsets. 12-5s are the threshold for the upsets for me. I don't pick anything below that as an upset. Do you?
That seems about right. That seems about
maybe
fair.
Even, but 12-5s aren't even that surprising.
Yeah,
anymore.
because they happen all the time.
So I feel like you stop at the 14. Do upsets stop at the 14?
No.
Okay.
You got to at least go to 13, at least.
Okay.
For you can be like, oh, man, what a major upset.
That's fair. So as far as these are concerned, I'm calling this upset. You can call me a homer. You can call me whatever you want, working with the league and everything like that. I'm picking Oakland over Kentucky.
Wow.
But I have my reasons. It's not just because, like, for one, I've got a good chance to watch Oakland on many, many occasions throughout the season. Oakland has exactly what you need to win in the NCAA tournament. They have exactly what you need to win in the NCAA tournament. You have 2 really good post play. They have Trey Townsend, again, who was the Horizon League Player of the Year. Okay, he was unstoppable against Milwaukee in that Horizon League title game. Now, I know you're not going up against a Horizon League school in the NCAA tournament, but you know what? Most teams at the 15 line aren't going up against teams from their weaker conference than the opponent that they're going up against. But they have another guy too. They have a couple guys. They have a couple guys that are near 7 feet tall. They have the size down low. But what they also have, they have 2 guys that are just absolutely deadly from behind the 3-point line. Townsend is just, when he touches that basketball, there's been, I think, I counted 16 or 15 games where he attempted double-digit threes in a game because the dude could knock him down. I mean, he shoots over 30% from 3. They have another guy named Golke who is just as deadly. He comes off the bench, and then when you have Golke on the left and Townsend on the right, and you have the big guy down low, I mean, they're a very dangerous team. So if those 2 come out on fire, and you got the 2 big guys down low, that's enough to neutralize Kentucky, who, let's be clear, as much as I like John Calipari in Kentucky, they have shown consistently to be a very mentally weak program at times when going up against lesser than opponents. It always seems Kentucky is getting bit in the arse by a mid-major program. I pick Oakland over Kentucky as one of my upsets in a 15 versus 2 matchup there. Or is that the 14 versus 3? I'm sorry.
Nice. I like that one. So this one is not on that same seed line. I know we kind of made our rules about, what technically is an upset, but I'm going to go with this one here. I'm going to go with Florida going home early, mainly because obviously they're missing one of their key starters. Big man broke his ankle in the SEC championship. We wish him nothing but the best in full recovery because he's on NBA radar, but they're playing a team that's going to be playing in the first 4. So they're either going to be playing Boise State or Colorado. I would hate to have a team get a quote-unquote warm-up game to get the momentum going for themselves. Florida has basically been off since Sunday. And then when they tip this game off, the other team had been playing on Saturday, and then they're going to turn around and play on Tuesday. So they're going to have that momentum going into the game. So if it's Boise State or Colorado, I got them beating Florida in the opening round.
So as far as just trying to get people's feedback on what we consider upsets in the NCAA tournament, is there a cutoff? Shaw says a 7 seed is saying you are a top 28. If a 10 upsets a 7, it's an upset in his eyes. So
that's fair.
If that's the case. So a team that I'm going to roll with, who I'm going to go the extra mile. I'm picking them to win on Wednesday night at UD Arena, and then I'm already picking them to win the next game too against Texas, and that's Colorado State. I had a chance to watch when Colorado State was fully healthy all the way back in November. I mean, they were a powerhouse, Kev. This is a team that I got to see when Wright State played them. They put up, they won 105-77 against Wright State back in early November, of course.
We should have known then the defense was going to be a problem.
Oh, absolutely. But like they've also beat they blew out Washington. They blew out Colorado. They blew out Creighton 69-48. Colorado State's healthy again heading into this. I picked them to win on Wednesday night and advance to the actual tournament, right? As everyone says. But I have them upsetting Texas. That's a team I'm keeping an eye on. Colorado State. Keep an eye on Colorado State. I have them winning on Wednesday night at the arena, then going on to beat Texas in that 10-7, as Shaw talked about. That's why I was curious if I was allowed to pick a 10-7 as far as that's concerned.
You are. It is
go.
the Kenner and Kev show. You can do that. Next one for me, I'm going with Kansas to lose to Sanford in the opening round of the NCAA tournament. This is not your typical Kansas team. I mean, they were 10-8 in conference play. They got a lot of transfers coming and going out of the program. Hunter Dickerson, the transfer from Michigan, transfer there. Actually still played pretty well, but I don't think Hunter Dickerson has ever played as well as he did as a freshman. With so much talk about him going pro after his freshman year, but he decided to come back, and then he decided to come back, and now he transferred to Kansas. I mean, he still averaged a double-double out there, but it wasn't as efficient as it once was because they're not getting quality point guard play. I got Kansas losing to Sanford first weekend.
Oh, Kansas to Sanford
going down.
That's actually one of the bigger spreads too for the weekend. You want to talk about the parity in the league or in college basketball? I mean, it's been wild to see some of the spreads in this too. So how about this one? So Clemson is a 6 seed. New Mexico is an 11 seed. We've talked about the misseeding of teams a lot. There's a lot of single-digit seeds, or there's a lot of single-digit lines for double-digit seeds over single-digit seeds. So Clemson is a 6 seed. They're 21-11 on the season. New Mexico 26-9. The 6 seed should be favored, right? If you're going to go chalk in your bracket, you're going to pick Clemson over New Mexico. Well, New Mexico is a 1.5 favorite.
Jamal Mashburn's son plays for them.
Yeah.
He transferred from Minnesota. So, yeah, he's a knockdown shooter. Definitely not as big as his dad, but he's a scorer for sure. I got Clemson winning that. I just think the size of Clemson is going to be too much for them. I mean, they got 2 big guys for Clemson. So I got Clemson winning that. Not handily, but, probably by like 10, 12 points.
Yeah, that's it. And like I said, I mean, you got Auburn taking on Yale. Auburn a 12.5 point favorite. That's a tight line. I think if you're going to bet on teams in the tournament, I wouldn't bet money line as much as I would covering. I would pick or at least teams not covering. I don't think, you know what I mean? Do you think Auburn covers that 13.5 point line?
Yes.
Or are you going to take a lot of teams covering in this situation?
I'm not going to take a lot of teams, but I'm going to take Auburn. I always like the hot team. They just won the SEC championship. They beat Tennessee.
Connect had a bad game. That's one of my players to watch.
Yeah. I mean, shoot. And just jumping back to the Kansas situation, I mean, they lost by 20 to UC. And I don't think anybody thinks this was a good UC basketball team this past season. So that's why I'm out on Kansas. Not only that, but yeah, speaking about, that last game you were talking about, absolutely, I got Auburn smoking them.
Auburn's. How about Vermont over Duke? An 11. That's a 13-4 matchup right there. Duke, a 11-point favorites in that one, according to ESPN Bet.
Going to be tighter than everybody thinks in the first half, but I think Duke pulls away and makes it like a 15-point victory for them. I only saw the Catamounts once this season, and it was in passing. Honestly, I can't even say I watched the whole game. It was on. It was watching me as opposed to me watching it.
Another potential upset in a 12-5 is James Madison over Wisconsin.
I keep hearing that.
Wisconsin's a 5-point favorite. A 5-point favorite against James. Now, I'm not only basing it off of that, and I'm also not going to sit here and crack this mic and pretend to be a James Madison aficionado, but you look at James Madison at 31-3, 31-3. All right, taking on Wisconsin. I don't care about. I mean, the records don't normally matter, but when you're talking about a team that's a double-digit seed, and then when you see that they've won 30 games, I think that's misseeding right there. I think James Madison needs a little bit more respect than that. Now, I don't know what their net ranking and all that stuff is, but we could sit there. We talked about it on yesterday's show. You could hide behind the net ranking excuse and all that stuff all you want, but the bottom line is it still hasn't made sense how they spread out these teams throughout this bracket. But Wisconsin, James Madison, 5 versus 12, and Wisconsin only a 5-point favorite in that one, according to ESPN Bet.
We talk about parity in basketball so much, especially in college basketball. This tournament is going to show us just that, because typically when you get a team from a smaller conference, they're not winning 30-something games, dude. Like, they're doing something right out there to win that many games. And a typical lower conference, all right, man, they won 25, 26 games, but 31 games, they blew people out. They won some close games. You know what I'm saying? We're not going to sit here and act like, we watched a lot of James Madison basketball, but I'll guarantee you go look at, their schedule. They probably won some tight games at the buzzer on the road, some cheering going on in the crowd, some waving to the crowd as a buzzer beater, blowing a couple people's out. So, I mean, I think when you're dealing with a team like James Madison, you're dealing with a team that has done it all kinds of ways. Now, Wisconsin, typically we only see one type of basketball out of Wisconsin outside of the Frank Kaminsky years.
So, wow. You look at James Madison right now, Kev, they beat Michigan State 79-76 back in November, right? They beat Kent State 113-108. They're a high power team. They beat Howard, who's in the first four, of course. 107-86. I mean, they're destroying teams.
So they can score.
95-64. They blew out Fresno. All right, 81-66. They took care of Buffalo. I mean, this is a team that.
So you think I need to switch to James Madison, basically?
I mean, my goodness. Do you feel that your bracket is wide? Gotta give yourself more time. Akron 73. They blew out Akron. I mean, my goodness. I mean, they blew out Marshall twice throughout the season. Yeah, man. Double-digit blowout. I mean, they've dominated opponents. I think they're misseeded. I get it. They're punished for the conference that they play in, as we've talked about. But this is what I always say. I'm not going to judge you for the conference you play in. But if you're going to tell me that you're one of the big boys, you need to look like one of the big boys in your weaker conference. That's always my big knock on Dayton. Don't sit there and tell me that you're a top 25 team when you can't win a conference that is full of unranked opponents. That's not shot. That's just common sense. Same thing with James Madison. Had they narrowly beat a lot of these average to bad teams in their conference, I wouldn't be as high up on them, but they destroyed these teams, Kev. Like, they're destroying their opponents. So I really like James Madison, and that's a mid-show flip as far as I'm concerned, because I probably would have picked Wisconsin if I filled out my bracket earlier in the week.
Well, I didn't hit send, and I can
That's
edit.
fair.
I can edit, so I'm going to go ahead and edit mine right now.
What up, Brad? Brad, yeah, he picked McNeese and James Madison as his upset.
Oh,
teams.
a double dipper.
Well, McNeese too. That's another team that.
Yeah.
I mean, who's the
Clark?
Well, Clark had talked about him too, but as far as their coach is concerned, too, really good. Will Wade, and they have a potential NBA guy in their roster as well. So McNeese is another one to keep an eye out as far as that's concerned and what they could potentially do in this tournament as well. I think we're going to get a lot of them smaller teams, if you will. While we focus on the Big East and the Big Ten and the ACC and all this other stuff and the Big 12, I think we're going to be talking about these James Madisons and these McNeeses, and we're going to be talking about all these teams in Nevada. We're going to be talking about these teams a lot throughout this tournament.
I'm with it. As long as the basketball is good, I'll watch.
Shaw said he's still picking the Badgers.
Badgers.
As far as that's concerned, it's going to be a good tournament. Usually these first round, there's going to be a lot of blowouts. I don't know how many blowouts there's going to be in this opening round as far as that's concerned. It's the Kinner and Kev Show, 1410 ESPN Radio. We'll be right back.
You have empty office space to fill or home office to create. You know what you need. You know what you'd like. But you also have a pretty good idea after you've shopped around the usual places what you need and what you like might not happen. Well, then you haven't been to Charles Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. Nobody has their selection. Nobody has their discounts. And every week there's something new. If you need office furniture, Larrick's Warehouse Outlet can sell it to you for half the price and below manufacturer's selected prices. Half price and below on hundreds of items. Selection from budget to the best. Really, desks from $50 to $5,000. Filing cabinets from $25 to $500. Before you go anywhere else, do yourself a favor and come to Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. With 25,000 square feet of selection, you're not going to go anywhere else. Larrick's Warehouse Outlet at 23 McOil Avenue, Dayton. Open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6. Larrick's, continuing the tradition.
Frickers tips off the season with a trio of fan favorites. Frickers Street Tacos are back for a limited time. While you enjoy the march to the national championship of college basketball on Frickers TVs, you'll savor the flavor of 3 Frickers Street Tacos. Frickin' Chicken Tacos, Grilled Chicken Tacos, and Mississippi Barbecue Tacos are back for a limited time. While your brackets get busted, smash a personal pitcher of domestic draft for only $6.99. Hurry before time runs out at the home for fun, food, sports, and spirits. Frickers.
Get ready for adventure with Jeff Schmidt Lana Motorsports. We are stocked with all things Polaris and their full line of ATVs. For work, home, or play, go to JeffSchmidtLanaMotorsports.com.
ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
Our forecast, partly cloudy and 35 tonight. Sunshine 48 tomorrow. Thursday, mostly sunny and a high of 41. Rick Schremp for 1410 ESPN Radio.
You have empty office space to fill or home office to create. You know what you need. You know what you'd like. But you also have a pretty good idea after you've shopped around the usual places what you need and what you like might not happen. Well, then you haven't been to Charles Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. Nobody has their selection. Nobody has their discounts. And every week there's something new. If you need office furniture, Larrick's Warehouse Outlet can sell it to you for half the price and below manufacturer's selected prices. Half price and below on hundreds of items. Selection from budget to the best. Really, desks from $50 to $5,000. Filing cabinets from $25 to $500. Before you go anywhere else, do yourself a favor and come to Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. With 25,000 square feet of selection, you're not going to go anywhere else. Larrick's Warehouse Outlet at 23 McOil Avenue, Dayton. Open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6. Larrick's, continuing the tradition.
Ulta Beauty's semi-annual beauty event is happening now. Unleash your love for beauty with 50% off daily beauty steals on hair, skin, makeup, and fragrance. Shop your favorite brands like Tarte and Fenty Beauty by Rihanna. Plus, grab perfect hair care pairs from brands like Redken and Olaplex. And check out new arrivals from brands like Charlotte Tilbury and Dyson. Shop the Ulta Beauty semi-annual beauty event online, in-store, or try pickup today. Now through March 28th. Ulta Beauty. The possibilities are beautiful. Conditions apply.
Getting your biggest tax refund from Jackson Hewitt can lead to some spirited reactions.
Jackson Hewitt!
Jackson Hewitt is so sure they'll get you your biggest refund that if they don't, you get your money back plus $100.
Jackson Hewitt!
Switch to Jackson Hewitt and we'll beat what you paid last year, even if you filed online. Ain't nothing to it. Switch to Jackson Hewitt and pay less for tax prep, guaranteed. Proof of prior year payment required when filing. New clients only at participating locations through April 7th. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com.
Cordell Transportation has more advantages than ever before, including brand new equipment. That's right, plus excellent pay benefits and a $5,000 sign-on bonus. Apply now at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
Hungry for a great time? Maybe some great food? Then come on down to your neighborhood Submarine House. Try our oven-toasted deli subs, our mouth-watering salads, pizzas, appetizers, and more. And wash them down with a unique selection of craft beers while watching the big game on our big screens. With locations around Dayton, in Columbus, and our newest sports bar in Kettering, you're never far from a Submarine House. Subs, sports, spirits, Submarine House.
It's time, basketball bettors.
It's March Mania. Hey, it's Kev Nash, here to tell you about BetUS.com. I endorse one sports book and casino, and that's BetUS. They've been driving to the basket for over 30 years. This year, BetUS has an epic three-pointer, 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits. That's right, the industry's craziest 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits, plus 10% gambler's insurance. And there's even more. BetUS accepts crypto and is offering a massive 200% crypto sign-up bonus. Gambler's insurance and crypto? You don't see that anywhere. March Mania basketball can get even more exciting with their live in-game betting. It's also a blast to check out their casino after the game, where you could get a 250% casino bonus. Get started by visiting BetUS.com or give them a call at 1-800-MyBetUS to learn all about their bonuses and special offers. BetUS, where the game begins.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy houses as is fast for cash. Call me today for an all-cash offer on any of your properties, and we can close within days at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Do you own a property that's outdated and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, I'll buy it. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Would it be convenient for you if you could simply take what you wanted and leave the rest behind? Great, I'll buy it. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family, apartment buildings, rental portfolios. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Call TurboTrack Realty today for an all-cash offer and speak with one of our friendly staff members at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Some people just know the best rate for you is a rate based on you with Allstate, not one based on anyone else. Visit allstate.com or call for a quote today.
Welcome back. Justin Kinner, Kev Nash, Dayton's ESPN Radio 1410 Wing AM. 518-1410, 518-1410, the number to call and jump in on the conversation. So I highlighted Deron Holmes a little bit ago, knowing that, yes, everyone around here knows who he is. Second team All-American, by the way, that came out.
Nice.
So now someone, Doug Toby, said Kinner's kissing up before he goes to UD Arena. But see, this is the arrogance of UD fans again. Like, I don't need to kiss up before going to UD Arena. You guys act like the 13,000 fans that are going to be watching the tournament games tonight are 13,000 UD fans. Like, you know how many arenas host tournament games around the country? And it's not that town's or that city's college fans that are there. Like, you know how many times I bought tickets to go watch tournament games in Columbus or Indianapolis? You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing? Like, it's not like the same 13,000 fans that are watching UD games are watching these first 4 games. Like, the arrogance, like they did that with Wright State. Oh, yeah, it took UD fans cheering on Wright State for them to win their tournament game. Really? Because it was not the same fans sitting in that arena. I'm not saying that it was in the crossover. There definitely was. You know, it's convenient for us to go to tournament games here. But the arrogance to act as if they're not fans from these teams and from all around the state coming in to watch tournament games. Give me a break. I don't need to kiss behind to go to UD Arena, and I'm here to prove it. I ain't picking Dayton to beat Nevada either on Thursday. So no, nice try, Doug Toby. I'm not kissing anyone's. I've never sucked up to anybody, and I won't start now. Definitely not. I was highlighting Deron because, yeah, Deron's finally a star player with Anthony Grant is going to have a chance to play on the big stage and be able to put his talents on full display. And yeah, that's where I'm at with that. Definitely not kissing behind before going to the arena tonight. I'll even order a Nevada shirt, and if I can get it ahead of time, I'll wear it to the arena tonight, if you will. Anyways. Kissing behind. I don't do that.
Don't you got to work at the arena over the weekend?
Oh, I better be careful. The 13,000 UD fans going to watch high school basketball this week. Oh, no. Those are different people. Yeah, but it's constantly the arrogance. That 13,000 UD fans are filling up the arena for the NCAA tournament first 4 games. Like, no, that's not how this works. That's not what's happening. But anyways, it's besides the point. But we're back. Kevin, do I kiss up to anybody?
Definitely not.
Thank you. just, whatever. Ryan Roth says, don't say we are all arrogant. Some are just young and unrealistic. That's fair. That's fair, Ryan. But you catching strays. A lot of Flyer fans catch strays for the obnoxious ones, but that's most fan bases. Like when I say I can't stand Bengals fans. Now Ryan Roth, I feel bad for Ryan. He's a Bengals and a UD fan, so he catches strays from me left and right. When I say I can't stand Bengals fans, most UD fans drive me nuts because of their arrogance. Ryan catches the strays of all those because he's a good Bengals fan and a good Dayton fan. There are a lot of good. Donna, shout out to Donna. I don't know if she's listening, but Donna's a great Dayton Flyers fan. She's one of the nicest human beings I've ever met in my life. I love Donna to death. So she's catching strays for no reason. So there are a lot of great UD fans out there.
The wrath of Kenner.
It's the wrath of Kenner, but it is. You don't be. That's what I always tell Flyer fans. And is this? Don't get mad at me. Get mad because the evil me when it comes to Dayton was created from those fans. That's where this has come from. It's the loud minority of UD fans. All right, that's where this comes from. But that's most fans. I mean, there's like a pocket of Browns fans, and I'm one of them, that makes people hate Browns fans, right? Like that exists in every fan base out there. So, but yes, Mr. Roth, I apologize, nonetheless. Ryan Strong says, why are you hurting all these crybaby feelings? Whoa. I don't need help. But nonetheless, let's see. William Yelly, what up, William? He goes, I'm going tomorrow night to watch the Colorado kid sitting real close too. As
Coach
far
Brown
as
gonna be there?
Yeah, I know. Is Prime coming to Dayton?
That would be cool.
You see Wisconsin's coach said, hit my theme music. And then it was the jump around song that came on, but Prime loved it. He said he loved every bit of it. Nonetheless, so, not bad for a team that's going to get upset by James Madison coming up. Nonetheless, but Ryan Roth says, realistically, this team has potential to win a couple games in the tourney, but I expect a 1 and out because everybody but Holmes has trouble on the road. Ryan, look, I think that, the Nevada thing, as far as that's concerned, that's a very winnable first-round game for Dayton. There's no doubt about it. I think they're a 1.5 dog in this. I just don't like their chances against Arizona because that's who they'd run into in the second round. That was the problem with, as far as that's concerned, too. But, again, the 8-9 matchup would have put you – who's the 1 seed in that region? The 1 seed in this region is North Carolina. Man, yeah, so because many people thought that there was a chance that Dayton was going to get that 8-9 matchup, and the winner of the 8-9 goes on to face the 1. So no matter what, the 7-8-9, it's tough to go on a deep tournament run now. The last time Dayton was in the tournament, they were also a 7 seed, and that's when they got matched up against Wichita State. So, as far as that goes. So do I think that there's a legitimate shot that they could beat Nevada? Absolutely. I think that's a very winnable game if you're Dayton. But after that, that's where it gets really tough. And to his point, outside of Duran, those players don't play well. Yes, there's a reason Dayton is undefeated at home. It's because everyone steps up when they're at home, like on this roster. That doesn't travel well with them realistically. But this is what's weird about the tournament. This is a neutral floor thing. It's not like you're going on the road in a tough environment, and Flyer fans travel real well. I am curious. I know Flyer fans are going to travel to Utah, but it's not going to be the wall of Flyer fans that there would be if it was in Memphis or Pittsburgh or even Indianapolis. So, you know what I mean? That's going to be tough as far as that's concerned. But Nevada, very good team. They were not seeded correctly, no doubt about it. They were a lot better than what their seed line, displays. You've been watching all the national shows. No one's given Dayton a shot. One's given Dayton a shot.
So according to ESPN's matchup predictor, UD has a 58.2% chance of winning.
Coin flip. Who do you have in your bracket? You have Dayton winning?
I have UD in the bracket. I have UD in the bracket and them then losing to Arizona.
So there's that. But where am I going with that? Oh, Williams says Arizona always chokes, Kenner. I mean, possibly. Look, and what's wild about that storyline, too, if Dayton gets to that second round, is what you talked about with where Duran's from.
Mm-hmm.
That would be a cool, interesting storyline right there. But this isn't like we know. Look, the reason Dayton's where they're at is because of Duran. But the reason that they're not going to move far in this tournament is because what's not around Duran, and they're not very good around Duran unless they're shooting threes well. It really comes down to that. We can prognosticate all we want about this game. You're going to get your double-double from Duran. Outside of that, nothing is a given. That's why it's close to that 50-50 line. That's what, as far as that's concerned. Plus, I'm not going to pretend to be an aficionado on Nevada as far as that's concerned, as far as they're playing, as far as their personnel, but all their metrics and all the numbers and all that stuff, that shows that you look at all the 10 seeds out there, they're the top 10 seed. as far as that's concerned when you look at it from that perspective. But nonetheless, okay, 518-1410. I'll continue to read these as the show goes on, but we got to catch up on our NFL, right? Like,
we do.
It's the first time I felt a little weird talking NFL. Like, I feel like we should be focused on something else. But get your brackets submitted at wingam.com. $100 in Frickers bucks, along with 4 tickets to an upcoming Reds home game.
Nice.
Okay, we're going to throw some Reds tickets into the pot as well. So the tournament, whoever gets the most picks right, whoever wins the bracket challenge at wingam.com, presented by Titan Graphics, you will get $100 in Frickers bucks, along with 4 tickets to see the Cincinnati Reds at Great American Ballpark. So normally we haven't thrown Reds tickets in the past because the Reds haven't been any dang good. So I didn't want to hear anyone complain about Reds tickets. What do we do to deserve Reds tickets? Reds tickets are a hot commodity these days.
Indeed.
I've had a lot of people all of a sudden care about Reds baseball that normally didn't care about Reds baseball. That's a good thing.
The Reds are on the radio.
Reds on the radio. Reds on the radio opening day next week. How about that?
How are you going to dress?
I've been keeping an eye on that. So next week, I think it's like a high of 53 and rain. Let's see if that changed. Weather for next week. Yeah.
Hopefully.
It's like today, but just, little
it's windy outside today.
Is it?
Yeah.
I've been outside too. Well, I was outside a little bit, but hold up. I'm checking the weather just to make sure. Last week when it was like in the 60s, I was praying that would have been the opening day weather. It's only 40. It's in the 40s today. So next Thursday, 53, 40% chance of rain.
Oh, no.
You can't dress for that.
We can't have no rain out first game of the season.
Oh, rain out. That'd be disastrous.
Terrible.
Nonetheless. All right. William Yelly throws out something about the Browns. Browns have almost $50 million guaranteed to a receiver with no hands. Crazy stuff. If you're talking about Jerry Jeudy today, that's one of those, and I told Kev this before we went on the air. I was like, I don't mind the Jerry Jeudy contract because Jerry Jeudy has not been in a position to truly succeed over the last couple of years with all the, with how dysfunctional that Broncos organization has been. But it could end up looking a lot like the Amari Cooper thing, where Amari Cooper was a great get for the Browns, but everyone had their doubts a little bit. Amari Cooper has been one of the biggest bang for your buck receivers in the NFL. Only $20 million a year for him. They're paying about $19 million a year for Jerry Jeudy. I think that what the Browns are hoping is that this ultimately becomes a simple handoff. I think we get one more year with Amari Cooper, take advantage of the year for them playing together. And the hope is Jerry Jeudy looks like that replacement for Amari Cooper, and then you move on and you still keep your number 1 wide receiver, even though I don't look at him as a number 1, but that he would be theirs. You keep your number 1 wide receiver at $19 million. I am going to give Jerry Jeudy the benefit of the doubt because that's what homers do, right? But nonetheless, it's not as if I'm saying, he's a top 5 wide receiver in the NFL, but when you get his contributions, he still had 800 yards last year and multiple touchdowns in a dysfunctional offense. So I'll take it. I think in a more functional offense, hopefully better health at quarterback. That's going to matter too. Hoping Deshaun's healthy, of course, because that's always the big thing. The other thing too about the Browns, so they get Jameis Winston. He is signed, by the way. So I know we were confused as to why they were going to get another Pro Bowl quarterback in Huntley. People are asking about why they have so many quarterbacks out there. They did not bring Joe Flacco back. So you have your Deshaun Watson, you have Dorian Thompson-Robinson, you got from UCLA in the draft last year. Then you go get Jameis Winston, and then they signed Pro Bowl quarterback Huntley over the weekend, former Ravens quarterback, as far as that's concerned. So everyone's like, why do they have so many quarterbacks in that room? What's going on? What do you mean what's going on? You have 2 quarterbacks coming off season-ending injuries, and right now I think it's more insurance than anything. Jameis is your legitimate backup. DTR, I'm not putting a whole hell of a lot of stock into as far as that's concerned, and I'll take DTR over Huntley when healthy to begin with. So I think that's just an insurance addition. I'm surprised by the Huntley pick. I'm surprised that he agreed to go to Cleveland knowing how crowded that room is, but maybe he wasn't getting any traction before, and this was just one of those situations where I'm going to take the first thing that comes to me. I'm not making too much about the QB room in Cleveland at this point.
I still think it's weird. It is loaded, it's loaded with a lot of people. And these are guys that, if you just need an arm for, training camp and stuff like that, you can grab an undrafted free agent and pay him pennies on a dollar. Granted, Tyler Huntley's not getting paid a boatload of money. You know what I'm saying? He's getting the veterans minimum. So that's a little over $1 million.
Yep.
But you could pay a undrafted free agent, $500,000. Granted, it's not my money, but I still think it's kind of odd. Obviously, Dorian Thompson-Robinson is not going to be on this roster. They're not going to carry 4 quarterbacks. That's
maybe that's what this was too.
That's only a college thing when you have 4 scholarship quarterbacks.
And the other thing too about Cleveland, I think they learned their lesson. No more having a quarterback room full of youth at quarterback. Like, you need experience in your backup room. DTR, I don't see being Brown, as you talked about, when the season starts. And right now, you have to operate under we don't know if Deshaun's going to be ready to go to start the season. I hope that he is. I mean, if he follows the timeline, he should be. But you don't know. He's coming off a season-ending injury. So was DTR. So right now, technically, what you do know, your quarterback room is obviously Jameis Winston and Huntley as your QB1 and 2 until we know what the actual health update is when it comes to Deshaun Watson and DTR as far as that's concerned. It does look weird, yes, but it's also March. If that's the 4 quarterbacks when we get into, July, I'll be with – in July, I'll find that very, very odd. As we sit here right now, I don't find it that odd just because a lot of it is, hey, I'd rather have a bunch of veteran QBs in our QB room in March as we wait to see what the update is on these guys moving forward. We'll see what ends up happening nonetheless. So how about Trent Brown? The Cincinnati Bengals signed Trent Brown today, 6'8", 300-something pounds. The guy's a monster. Orlando Brown Jr., also 6'8", 300-something pounds. The guy's a monster. Those are, it took – 5 years, Joe Burrow heading into year 5, what have you. It took 5 years, but the Bengals might have just figured it out. It took 5 years. They might have just figured it out with this offensive line. Your thoughts on that? Trent Brown was not that good 2 years ago. The Patriots took a flyer out on him. He ended up being a Pro Bowl tackle for them last season. Now he had a great year for the Patriots last season, and then the Bengals get in. They do get him for 1 year, though.
Yeah.
They could be one of those things where the Browns do this on their D line when it comes to what they do. They're going to have a revolving 1-year contract pass rusher that they go get. Obviously, Zadarius Smith, they got a multi-year contract with him, but I think that Zadarius Smith, opposite of Myles Garrett, it's going to be one of those revolving door type situations. I think that's what you could potentially see with the Bengals. My concern for the Bengals is, as always, there's not a team out there that constantly buys their offensive line. At some point, you have to draft a staple of your offensive line. They don't have one piece on that offensive line that is a staple that they drafted that can give them that sustainability moving forward. You can't keep putting money into the O-line over and over and over without any sustainability. But for the time being, for this upcoming season, you're kind of going all in, risking it with T. Higgins not being disgruntled a bit. I don't mind this move at all. I think it's a very good move for the Cincinnati Bengals. Kudos to them. They still have a lot of holes to still fill, but I thought that was a big get for them considering how weak the offensive line free agency class was. They get a big one in Trent Brown.
Ton of experience. I mean, and part of the reason why he's getting this 1-year deal is because he's 30-plus years old. I mean, the big thing about offensive tackles that I always like is their background, because we always see the 6'5", the 6'8", 300-plus pounds, but they haven't always been 300-plus pounds. They, in high school, maybe they're like 250 or something like that. So did they wrestle? Did they run track? Did they play basketball? Well, Trent Brown played basketball. And there's nothing cooler than seeing a 300-pound person go up there and dunk a basketball. That is probably the coolest thing in the world, because we think, oh, man, athletes, we long, tall, slim, wide receivers, cornerbacks, that's all, man. We tune into the NFL Combine to watch the DBs and wide receivers run. Oh, man, is he going to run a 4.4 or whatever? There's nothing more entertaining than watching somebody that big, that strong, show true athleticism. Hey, look, I'm not trying to toot my own horn here, but I'm only 6 feet and I dunked once. That's not an impressive feat. There's plenty of people that are 6 feet that can dunk. There's not a lot of people out there that's 350 pounds that can go up there and dunk a basketball. It's a good pickup for the Bengals.
I hit the net once.
Did you?
Second row of the netting. Yeah.
Good for you.
Peak of my athletic career.
Good for you. And you're how tall again?
Peak 5'7" on a good day.
Okay. Got a little bounce.
I had this hat on. Maybe. Oh, hold up. 5'8". 5'8". Is what it is. Yeah. Edwards dunked last night. William bringing that in. Dude, he's he's actually lost weight. Anthony, it's not that he's lost weight because he's always been a freak athlete. But he's just getting chiseled now, and just he's lean, and he's just but he's a freak athlete, man. He looks different out on that floor. I wish, he had a little bit more. The problem is he's a draw for NBA fans, but he's not that draw for outside fans to lean into. Hopefully that changes over the years. But yeah, the
playoffs
NBA,
are coming.
He's a super talented player, man.
You show out in the playoffs. You show out in the playoffs, people are tuning in.
Yeah,
this is when people are starting to tune in. I mean, he's a 2-foot leaper. So when you're a 2-foot leap dude, man, you can get extra hops off that jump, man. I mean, I didn't see it live. I saw it on Twitter, and I rushed to my TV to turn it on YouTube so I could see it on the big screen. Like that was nasty. And
They had the
the
different
expression
angles. Yeah.
of the guys on his teammates' faces after you went up there and put it down. I mean, I know people don't have like posters in their rooms anymore like we did when we were growing up, but like that's poster worthy type of dunk.
Staying in the NFL before we hand it off to our big hoopla conversation in a moment, but your team, big news over the weekend, Justin Fields. We thought last week, when they traded Kenny Pickett, they get that additional 3rd round pick. Now, I didn't follow the trade and what went with it. I don't know what they sent to Chicago. I don't know if that 3rd round pick was a part of it or not. Do you? What did Pittsburgh give up to get Justin
They
Fields?
gave up a conditional 6th round pick in the
Jesus.
2025 draft. So if Justin Fields plays X amount of snaps, it goes up to a 4th round pick. But if he doesn't, they get a 6th round
That's a win-win
pick
no matter
in next
what.
year.
You
Yeah.
gave up nothing for, if it doesn't work out, you gave up nothing. And if it works out, you only gave up a 4th when it's all said and done. So that's a huge get. But the thing is, so I was listening to shows throughout the day. I guess he was made aware coming over that he is not competing for the starting job. I think that this was probably relayed also to Russell Wilson that, hey, because you agreed to come here as well, you're the starter. I think Russell Wilson, to get him to go to Pittsburgh, it was kind of relayed to him that you're the starter. Now, it doesn't mean that you're bulletproof.
Right.
But they're laying there's no QB controversy in Pittsburgh, I guess, is what this is kind of building up to. But that's an impressive QB room, a QB room that we did not expect to see in Pittsburgh, especially because it's the Steeler way. They're stubborn to a fault at times. I like that. I don't like as a Browns fan, but as a football fan, just seeing how they're starting to operate the way every other NFL team operates, where, hey, we could turn things around quicker. Like, it's not like you're married to guys long term. You can get off these bad contracts pretty quickly, and there was really no bad contract to get off of. They might have absorbed one, with Russell, and technically not even then. They're only spending $1 million for his services, as far as that goes. But Justin Fields and Russell Wilson, the starter in Pittsburgh, very, very interesting. Tyler Boyd being a name to be brought in at wide receiver over in Pittsburgh as well. So, yeah, that's interesting stuff going on in Pittsburgh.
Lots of rumors. So let me say this first. One, the Chicago Bears failed Justin Fields just as much as he failed the Chicago Bears. And the same thing for the Pittsburgh Steelers failing Kenny Pickett, and Kenny Pickett failing the Pittsburgh Steelers. What the Pittsburgh Steelers did with Kenny Pickett and keeping Canada on as the offensive coordinator was just wrong. And that is at the feet of Coach Tomlin. That's his fault. That is the guy that he hired to come in and run the offense. And it was an absolute disaster when you had your Hall of Fame quarterback there. It was a disaster when you had Trubisky starting. It was a disaster when you had Pickett starting. The only time it wasn't a disaster is when you had Mason Rudolph in there, surprisingly enough. Mason Rudolph played very good football and earned himself a decent contract with the Tennessee Titans. Salute to Mason Rudolph. But the biggest thing for the Pittsburgh Steelers is Omar Khan is the new GM. We can talk about the old Steeler way, and I definitely was one of those people that said, well, that's not what we do as a franchise. This is not what we do. Well, the main GM of my lifetime, or me really focusing in on what's going on behind the scenes of teams, was Kevin Colbert. He's no longer there. So this is a new regime in charge of what's going on with the Pittsburgh Steelers. So with that being said, I guess we shouldn't be shocked that, all right, man, we've been trying something for one way for so long. Now we're trying something new and a new facet. We're going to get different results. And I'm happy about that. Now, I don't think that Russ should just be like, oh, man, he's the starter. I mean, I think it should be a competition. And I think competition is healthy for everybody, not only for the quarterback room, for the running back room, for the wide receiver room. You shouldn't just get it off the rip just because you're a more veteran situation. Hey, man, you come in there and you compete. Imagine when Russell got drafted by the Seahawks if Pete Carroll didn't let him compete for the number one job. He earned that job in camp. He came in as a rookie and earned the starting job. So, like, that's just my whole thing. Like, don't just give him the keys just because he's the veteran guy. Let them go out there and prove it on the field. Now, with that being said, I think Russ, with his experience, would ultimately get it. But I'm just not a fan of saying, hey, man, you got it. Don't worry about it. Like, this is not an Aaron Rodgers situation. This isn't a Joe Montana coming from San Francisco 49ers to Kansas City. Like, it's not that type of situation. Hey, both of y'all are new to the franchise. Not only new to the franchise, but we got a new offensive coordinator. Like, this is new to everybody. So go out there on the grass and compete for the number 1 spot.
Oh, yeah. And look, I don't think just because they said, hey, he's the starter, you're coming in to be the backup. That's the roles right now as we sit here in March. I don't think that just telling Russell he's the starter means you could do no wrong. You could do no wrong. You could do. I mean, I think it's one of those where, like Russell, when he had to beat out Flynn for the job in Seattle, Flynn was the starter. He was the backup. Those were the roles heading in, but those changed. I think the roles could change. I think everything's always a competition. I mean, everything's always going to be a competition. They just may not label it a competition, but I mean, the competition, it's 17-week regular season. It's a 17-week competition. If by week 7, Russell has just not looked good, it's Justin Fields who wins that 7-week competition at that point. So, no, I'm with you. I just think right now it's just as far as the label goes, he's labeled the starter. Justin's been made aware that, hey, you're not coming in to be the starter right now. But, again, that job could be lost more than Justin Fields wins it. But, again, a QB change could potentially happen nonetheless. But hopefully for you, it doesn't have to come down to that. If it comes down to that, that means things aren't going well. But I think Bengals fans and I and Browns fans, we can all agree we kind of root for chaos. I
know. So, there's a lot of rumors going on around the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're talking about a certain wide receiver. We shall see.
Tyler Boyd's the one I heard. Is there
Tyler
another
Boyd,
one?
No, Ayuk.
Ayuk from Stanford, because he said we look alike and all that stuff or whatever.
So that is the latest rumor with the Pittsburgh Steelers. They still got about $18 million to spend.
My thing about Pittsburgh is this, and you may not like it, but there's 0% chance of winning a Super Bowl with Kenny Pickett or Mason Rudolph heading into next season. So moving on from them to bring in Russell and Justin Fields, this is more bulletproof because if you don't win it, you ain't married to these guys financially. Like Russell's $1 million.
Right.
You move on.
100%.
Justin's, I don't even know what the financial situation is
there. He's under his rookie deal. He's like getting like $4 million this season. They have to determine if they're going to pick up his 5th-year option by May 2nd. They're obviously going to decline that. So the rumor is they're going to offer him like a 2-year deal for $20 million so to keep him on the roster or whatever.
So still safe.
Yeah. Not a lot of money. Not a lot of money.
Considering that it's not like they took a risk moving on from I don't even look like when the Browns moved on from Baker, that was more of a risk moving on from Baker than the Steelers moving on from Kenny.
Absolutely.
Am I wrong in that?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, look, man, I wanted Kenny Pickett to work out. I wanted him to get a quote unquote fair shot under this new regime. But, it's kind of like you look at the team and you talk about this all the time. Like, you have to go now. You have to go now. Like, these careers don't last forever. Well, me and my brother were talking about this. Like, man, Cam Hayward been in the NFL for a long time. Like, he was at Ohio State when Tressel was there. Like, he's on the verge of retirement. How long are you going to have this Hall of Fame player? How long are you going to have a Hall of Fame rush in and T.J. Watt? How long you have in prime Minka Fitzpatrick? You have to do something now. And the way they were going, scoring 13 points a game, you weren't going to go out there and win anything. You just weren't. Like, you squeak into the playoffs, but then what? So I'm not mad at it. I can be blue in the face about, Russ, but ultimately, financially, it was a great move. It's $1 million. It's worth a flyer. Let's just say they go into camp and, man, Justin Fields has turned into, I don't know, Patrick Mahomes overnight. And like, wow, well, guess what? Justin Fields is going to be a starter. We're going to cut you, Russ. We're going to, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's $1 million. It's nothing. So it's definitely worth a quote unquote flyer.
All right. We have one more part of the second hour coming up for you here around the corner. Rick Pitino just tweeted out a suggestion for Dan Gavitt, and it includes the likes of a Jim Boeheim, Roy Williams, and Coach K. It's quite the suggestion for everyone that had a problem with Selection Sunday, for everyone that had a problem with how the bracket laid out, for everyone that had a problem with the teams that were left out or the teams that were seated incorrectly. This is a very interesting suggestion from one Mr. Rick Pitino. We'll talk about that when we come back. It's the Kinner and Kev Show, 1410 ESPN Radio. We'll be right back.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash.
Justin, you're awesome, baby.
Right here on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Get the best quality Dutch Boy paints for your next project at Menards. Give your space the platinum treatment in one coat with Platinum Plus interior paint. Its stain shield technology protects your spaces with a performance you'd expect from a luxury paint at a price you wouldn't. And with Dutch Boy's easy opening, smooth pouring container, transforming your home has never been easier. Save big money on Dutch Boy paints and head into Menards to get your paint project started today.
Save big money at Menards.
Frickers tips off the season with a trio of fan favorites. Frickers Street Tacos are back for a limited time. While you enjoy the march to the national championship of college basketball on Frickers TVs, you'll savor the flavor of 3 Frickers Street Tacos. Frickin' Chicken Tacos, Grilled Chicken Tacos, and Mississippi Barbecue Tacos are back for a limited time. While your brackets get busted, smash a personal picture of domestic draft for only $6.99. Hurry before time runs out at the home for fun, food, sports, and spirits. Frickers.
You know, I grew up hearing that women are bad with money. But like many of you, I spent years paying bills, managing checking accounts, and taking care of my family. So turns out women are pretty good with money after all. And now I'm taking control of my financial future by saving for retirement. It's never too late to start, and there's a great website to help you. Check out WeSaySaveIt.org and jumpstart your retirement savings on your budget and your timeline. That's WeSaySaveIt.org. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Getting your biggest tax refund from Jackson Hewitt can lead to some spirited reactions.
Jackson Hewitt, yeah!
Jackson Hewitt is so sure they'll get you your biggest refund that if they don't, you get your money back plus $100.
Jackson Hewitt, yeah!
Switch to Jackson Hewitt and we'll beat what you paid last year, even if you filed online.
Yeah!
Ain't nothing to it. Switch to Jackson Hewitt and pay less for tax prep, guaranteed. Proof of prior year payment required when filing. New clients only at participating locations through April 7th. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com.
People are talking about Carol Works Tire and Auto Service.
Over the last few years, I've purchased 3 sets of tires from Carol Works. Each time, service has been excellent, from answering questions to scheduling an installation. Thanks for the good work.
Carol Works Tire and Auto Service treats every customer like family and every vehicle like their own. It's about the relationship, not the sale. Carol Works Tire and Auto Service. Large or small, they fix them all. Call 937-461-5441 or visit c-wtire.com.
Hey folks, it's game day and the betting's gonna be intense, Drew.
You said it, Dave. But a good pregame routine keeps betting responsible.
That's right, you gotta pause before you play.
Good call. Sports betting is hot, but it can be risky.
And pausing to set limits is an all-star move.
That's right, Dave. If you bet on sports, pause before you play to set limits, recognize the risk, and know when to stop.
Learn more at pausebeforeyouplay.org.
Why are people saying, "Hugh, yeah," to Jackson Hewitt? Find out before it's too late. Hurry into Jackson Hewitt today.
I lock up my Old Spice Fiji aluminum-free dry spray to keep that 24/7 lasting freshness safe for myself. Fresh coconuts, palm trees in the wind. It's like catching waves in Fiji. Actually, I just talked myself into a refreshing spritz of Fiji. My Old Spice is missing! No!
Starting March 18th for 3 days only, shop limited-time doorbusters during Lowe's MVP's bonus days. Buy 1 Metabo HPT 15-degree roofing nailer. Get 1 box of Metabo HPT 1 1/4-inch collated roofing nails free, a $49.98 value. Plus, save $39 on a Little Giant A4 6-foot 300-pound stepladder. Shop these deals and more while supplies last. Lowe's knows pros. Valid 3/18 through 3/20. Selection varies by location.
Are you ready to get outside and play some golf? Walnut Grove Country Club has it all. A challenging golf course, leagues for men and women, a kids golf program, large pool, lots of social activities, great food, and the most fun Friday nights in town, all in a friendly, comfortable atmosphere. Join Walnut Grove by the end of April and get up to 2 months free, plus savings on the initiation fee. Call Caitlin at Walnut Grove Country Club. It's where you belong.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and, in rare cases, fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Justin Kinner, Kevin Nash back with you here, 1410 ESPN Radio. The first four tips off tonight. UD Arena, who's going? If you're on your way to the arena, or about to, I guess it's 5 o'clock. The first game's not till 6:40. Probably some people out getting around, getting off work, sprinting home real quick to change, get out to the arena. All 13,000 UD fans going to be filling up the arena tonight, cheering on the first four, apparently.
You just can't let it go.
It's just so crazy to me. Like when Wright State was in the first four, I said, oh, yeah, it took all UD fans cheering you on to have that home court event. Like, they weren't all UD fans at that game that night. Like, that's so ridiculously, insanely just arrogant to just assume that because it's UD's home arena that it's the same fans cheering on the first four. That is not even close to being accurate and so insanely, arrogantly wrong. So, it is what it is. And to prove that, I'm not a UD fan and I'm going to the arena.
You're allowed in?
I didn't allowed in. I was worried that they weren't going to approve my credential, but they always do. I'm sure they. This idiot,
him again.
This guy, yeah. Oh, he doesn't like our team, so he must be an idiot. Oh, okay, makes sense. Rick Pitino had a suggestion for Dan Gavitt in the NCAA regarding the selection committee.
Okay.
Rick Pitino tweets out, I have a great suggestion for Dan Gavitt, who is absolutely the best. I know 3 guys who are watching games all year and would be a great addition to the selection committee. They won't just look at certain metrics. They'll actually watch the games. Talking about guys like Jim Boeheim, Roy Williams, and Coach K, they need to be a part of Selection Sunday and the selection committee. Football, sorry, real quick. So, the committee for the football, they don't have former coaches there. They have ADs, active ADs, which I still think is a conflict of interest. I think that's just absolutely insane. I would take, with the likes of Nick Saban being out there now and Urban Meyer and some of these big name former head coaches, I think that the college football playoff committee needs to be made up of more football minds, not ADs with business potential incentives. You know what I mean? That could benefit from this. I like that, and it's not going to happen, but I do think it's a solid point. There's way too many fantastic basketball minds out there that are out of coaching because the changes of the game pushed them out. I think that those names make way too much sense. Now, be careful what you ask for. Coach K might, you never know with these guys lean more, high major friendly.
Mm-hmm.
Would they be as friendly to the James Madisons? Acting like Coach K is going to make James Madison a 5 seed versus a 12 seed just because they won 30 games might work against you. You never know. But thoughts on that star power being on a selection committee for March Madness?
Not against it. I would prefer a sprinkling of all things, a sprinkling of former coaches that are still active, sprinkling of media members, some of the talking heads that cover college basketball, some sports writers that cover college basketball, and people that are currently on the committee. So you get a cluster of all things. So you get more of a wide ranging opinion as opposed to one way of thinking in that room.
You said add Roy Williams. Did the tweet not have Roy Williams in there? Yeah.
Roy boy.
Maybe I didn't even say the right name, but yeah, Roy Williams. Roy Williams, Jim Boeheim, Coach K. Jay Wright. You could put together but I'm with you. I think that the metrics have a place in this. I've never been, even in baseball, when we talk about analytics, I've never said analytics have no place in baseball. Analytics have always been a thing. It's how you build a scouting report. It's the advanced analytics that, where you make every single decision based on that. I don't think you should make every decision based on the NCAA tournament. I don't think you should shrink it down to computer metrics.
Mhm.
I think there needs to be a balance. And I think that the balance could be the nerds with iPads and laptops in their lap sitting across from the guys that actually know what the hell they're talking about, and Coach K, Roy Williams, Jim Boeheim, Jay Wright, guys like that. So a balance. What I would love to picture is like that little, the Last Supper, picture of the last, I want a table like that, with just everyone just angry and pissed off, screaming at one another. I probably should not be saying pissed off while talking about the picture of the Last Supper, but this is besides the point.
Amen.
I want to see, hallelujah. So I say all that I think there needs to be a balance of that. I don't think we could always just computerify everything. That's not even a word, but I'm making it a word. I don't think it should all come down to that. I get what he's trying to say. Basically, Rick Pitino is saying, hey, we wouldn't have been left out if my guy, Coach K wouldn't have left me out, all right, if he was on that committee.
Oh, he definitely wouldn't have been out. I mean, shoot, he coached under Boeheim at Syracuse for some time. Like, hey, put some of my friends on there so I can get in there. No, but in all seriousness, I think, like we just been talking about, like, it needs to be a mixture of all things. I mean, when you get one way of thinking and one style of thinking, you're going to get the same result over and over and over. So I'm not simply a fan of, hey, man, we shouldn't have involved the computers at all. I'm not a fan of it should just only be former coaches because we've coached in this thing. We know how hard it is. That's one way of thinking, but a broader thought process of coming up with this round of 68 teams. Well, shoot, it's not even a round of 68 teams because there's auto bids, but you know what I'm saying. I think and also if you have those coaches on that committee, they would see how difficult it truly is.
And maybe they can relay some of that.
Yeah.
Like, hey, there was actually talking about this team should have made it because of this. Well, there's actually 5 teams with the same amount of metrics as that.
Because this selection committee goes off into hiding just like the college football committee. Like, we never hear from, Randall McDaniel. We never hear from Gary Pinkel. Like, Gary Pinkel, he's a former coach. Like, but we don't hear from him. We don't hear from who else is on there. Will Shields, he's a former player. Like, we don't hear from these people ever. Like, I can't tell you last time I've heard these people speak. Only person I saw speak was the chair when he goes up there and basically doesn't answer any questions. So having people that have skin in the game, having a different voice opposed to the same voices that have been in there for years, I'm all for it.
Justin Kinner, Kev Nash with you here on 1410 ESPN Radio. You said he coached under Jim Boeheim. Being under Boeheim has a due meaning.
Oh, goodness.
What? Recent actions, nonetheless. Always. Meep. First 4 tonight, Kev.
It's going down.
Wagner Howard, the first game, 640. UD Arena, 3.5-point favorite. According to ESPN Bet, is Howard. Who you taking?
I am rolling with Howard.
Just because they're 3.5-point favorite?
No, I'm going with Howard because they're HBCU. That's I'm not even gonna lie to you.
I know nothing about any team.
I'm going with Grambling as well because they're HBCU.
I'm rolling.
That is why
I'm rolling with Howard because they're 3.5-point favorite. I'm just honest.
I am too. I'm going with them because they're a black school. Keep it real on this show.
So, Kidder, are you still going to go for Howard then? Hold up, relax. Colorado State, Virginia tonight. Colorado State a 2.5-point favorite against Virginia.
Colorado State because Virginia should not be in the tournament.
I'm with you on that. Colorado State, I have not just winning tonight. I have them beating Texas in the next round as well on Friday. So I feel pretty good about that. Or is it Thursday? I don't even know when they play. It doesn't matter. They're beating Texas. They're going to beat Virginia tonight, and then they're going to take care of Texas in the next round. As far as that's concerned.
Orange down. Boomer Sooner, baby.
It's Kinner and Kev Show, 1410 ESPN Radio, Hour 3 coming up next. Also, don't forget Ohio State basketball tonight, NIT. Who you got tonight? Oh, let's see what is Ohio State. Is Jake Diebler's Buckeyes favored tonight? Or did the Jake Diebler, did the new coach vibe rub off a little bit? They got Cornell. Ever heard of them?
Yeah.
Cornell at home tonight, 7 o'clock on ESPN2. And technically right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. So who you got? Ohio State, Cornell. They're at 11.5-point favorite. According to ESPN Bet.
Ohio.
Ooh, you know how bad that'll be for Jake Diebler if they turn around and lose to Cornell? Like, everyone out there who is like, I knew Jake Diebler was going to get it. That's false. No one thought that he was actually going to get it. Everyone thought that it was a great opportunity for him to maybe put his name out there more. He'll get a head coaching gig in the offseason. They didn't think they'd get this head coaching gig, but my goodness, they lose to Cornell. All that good vibe, feel like, Chris Holtman's sitting there like, What's Cornell? Looks like they have a bear through a C over here. Are they the Bears? Cornell
I believe
Bears?
so.
Let's pretend they're the Bears.
Grizzly Bears.
You know Holtman, he has his Cornell shirt on tonight. He's like, oh, yeah, buddy?
That's only you, man. People don't think like that.
No, that is not true. That is not true.
Shame. Red Bears. Cornell Red Bears. Not just one bear, but the Red Bears.
Oh, the Red Bears.
Red Bears, yeah.
Well, we'll see what happens. Ohio State's winning tonight, but if they don't, it's not like they got the wrong hire or anything, but I'm just saying it's definitely going to. Remember what I told you about the NIT with Ohio State? They were able to weather the storm of firing Chris Holtman. It looked like Ohio State basketball had bit the dust. There was no one gave a rip about it. Then the arena is full. Everyone's excited about it. Jake Diebler gets the job. Oh, yeah, it's a new era of Ohio State basketball. You think everything's trending in the right direction. I would have actually, if I'm Ohio State, I would have opted out of the NIT. I would not have gone to the NIT. I would not have wanted to risk ending the season with a loss against a bad opponent in the NIT and then lose that momentum on the recruiting trail and everything else that goes along with the perception of the program right now. Because the perception is, man, they're rolling again. They got rid of the problem. It was Chris Holtman. Everything's fine. But you lose to Cornell, I'm not saying you're back where you were, but you're going to lose steam. You're going to lose momentum as far as that's concerned.
We're winning.
11, they cover, 11.5 point favorite.
We cover. We win, we cover, we celebrate.
Sounds good. Celebrating Cornell. Celebrating beating Cornell. Man, how far the program has come over the years.
Go Bucks.
I beat the Red Bears.
Real quick. Yeah. Mike Williams, 1-year deal with the Jets.
Figured that was coming. I know the Jets there was a report that came out yesterday that they were keeping an eye on the T. Higgins situation in Cincinnati, that the Jets were going to be involved in that. But I think there are a lot of teams keeping an eye on it. I just don't think that the Bengals are going to part ways with them. I really don't. So, nonetheless. All right. It's Kinner and Kev show. That does it for hour 2. Hour number 3 coming up next. Don't go anywhere.
Listen, stream, watch. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash right here on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM.
Whether we're in your home for a new McAfee installation, a scheduled maintenance, or a repair, you can count on McAfee to do what we say we'll do when we say we'll do it. We care about the services we provide and the products we install in your home, tailor-fitting our work to your family's needs through the entire process. We stand behind what we do, and we're proud to put our name on it. Breathe easy, choose McAfee, or have a cow.
My name is Chris Epley, the presiding and administrative judge on the Ohio 2nd District Court of Appeals. Prior to being elected, I spent most of my career in the trial court, the appellate court, and teaching appellate law to UD law students. I was born, raised, and married in Dayton, and my family is active in the community and volunteering. It's been an honor serving the 6 counties that make up our court. I'm on the ballot again March 19th, and I ask for your vote, Chris Epley for Court of Appeals. Paid for by Epley for Court of Appeals.
You have empty office space to fill or home office to create. You know what you need. You know what you'd like. But you also have a pretty good idea after you've shopped around the usual places what you need and what you like might not happen. Well, then you haven't been to Charles Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. Nobody has their selection. Nobody has their discounts. And every week, there's something new. If you need office furniture, Larrick's Warehouse Outlet can sell it to you for half the price and below manufacturer's selected price.